When I is down. It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to Wait and Worry Week. Like, I don't know. It's Wait and Worry Week. And it's just a really uncomfortable place to be. It's an uncomfortable place to be, but that's where you're at. And that's what the entire week's going to be. And you're just going to have to worry and hope and see what happens. Is John late? John's never late. You kidding me? And so I don't know where you guys want to go with this today, what you guys want to talk about, how you want to navigate all this. It's totally up to you guys. And I'm happy to go I'm happy to go wherever you guys want to go with it. I really am. But it's just a little bit of a helpless feeling right now. It's just, you just feel like you're just kind of sitting there waiting. So I don't know. Why are you guys asking if I'm late? I started the show, everything. Wait, what are you guys doing? It's saying I'm live. Did I stroke out and die? What's going on? This is not good. Somebody tell me what is going on. The show has been going on for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and you're saying I'm not live. Mark, you're backstage. Tell me, is there something going on or what? Because I am going live, but I'm not seeing anything happening, and it says 0 people are watching. Am I live now? Now it says 65 people are watching. What's going on? Somebody let me know. Dr. John says he's got me. Was there a delay? There was a little lag in StreamYard. Is that what the issue is? Are we back? Not a good start to the week. Not a good start to the week. Now I'm in a bad mood. There was a delay. It's something with StreamYard because I was running for 2.5 minutes and it was saying that I wasn't live and there were 0 people watching. And I know my voice isn't that appealing, but 0 is a little low. Not a good start. Not a good start to what I'm labeling as Worry Week. What are the wires frozen? The magic internet waves, are they all frozen? You should all know I'm never late. The second it hit 900, I hit go live. You know I'm never late. Show us your face. If you want to show your face. I was trying to show my face. So, all right. Looks like we're good to go now. I'll have to have a strong word with the manager here at Always Irish. How's the snow up there? I think we got 11 inches or a foot, maybe. Biggest snowstorm we've gotten in a long time. Biggest snowstorm we've gotten in a long time. So, and it made for an interesting Saturday because every couple hours I would go shovel and plow and do what I need to do. Come in, check on the football, hope some things went Notre Dame's way, then go back out and shovel the snow again. We didn't get no breaks. Didn't matter whether I'm in the house or shoveling or whatever, but yeah, it was a good. I think we got a foot, so it was the real deal. And we're supposed to get some more today, so I don't know. Welcome in, everybody. I'm glad it looks like we're glad it looks like we're up and running, but it does offend me. People thought I was late. So we played a football game Saturday, and nobody cares about it, and everybody's just worried about the playoff. Let's just be real. Other than people wanting it to be 70-0, no one really cares about the minutia of the Stanford game. And people now, it's just all about, are you going to make this playoff, or are you going to be like the first team cut? That's kind of what it's down to. And so we could talk about whatever you guys want to. I see a few of you guys backstage. We're going to bring you up. And we're going to go over a $2 hour for Rodney tomorrow night. Cannot get here soon enough. Yeah. Tomorrow night sets the stage for exactly, you're going to know, I think, exactly what you need to happen Saturday to be able to make it, right? Like, so what happens tomorrow night is going to dictate the stage, I think, that's set. And then unfortunately, Notre Dame's got to sit there and hope a couple of these title games go the way you want. That's the way it goes when you lose 2 games. So, but I think, yeah, tomorrow night's going to set the stage. And here's my feeling, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. It feels to me like, it feels like a lot happened last weekend, but I don't think a lot changed. I feel like a lot happened, but I don't think a lot changed. I expect Notre Dame to be in the 9 spot and everything else to be the same, other than A&M, which doesn't really change your situation. Am I wrong? Tell me. I'm not a bracketologist. Tell me if I'm analyzing it wrong, but it feels to me like Notre Dame's going to be at the 9. Oklahoma will be ahead of them. And the only change will be from A&M, but that doesn't really affect you. It's just going to reshuffle the top, which doesn't really change our situation. But I expect Notre Dame to be right where they were. And then we'll see where we go from there. So I just, Notre Dame and Oklahoma should swap. You know what I've decided? I just think 10-2 in the SEC, they're going to honor that, like who their losses were. I just think they're going to honor that. In an ideal world, Notre Dame does jump Oklahoma, and then you move into a hosting seed, and more importantly, you build yourself one more spot of a gap to not worry about being out, right? Like, if that committee has decided, we'll get to you guys. You're all coming up if you're backstage. If that committee has decided Notre Dame's done, they're one of the best top 10 teams, and we want them in, right? The eye test matters, Johnny. Notre Dame beat 10 opponents in a row by double digits. Is that not enough of an eye test? Like, sometimes I lose perspective, and I don't know exactly where the bar is. The eye test matters, Johnny, and you won your final 10 games all by double digits. There's your eye test. Is that not good enough? Like I don't know where the level is, bro. If I exist in a world where Rick Meyer's bench-warming son costs you the playoff because he scores a touchdown in garbage time, whatever, then I'll just be mad all year and all summer heading into next year, I guess. If that's what it comes down to, that Rick Meyer's bench-warming son gets a touchdown in garbage time at 2 a.m. and it costs my team the playoff, so be it. Like, if the margin is that small, then whatever. But it's like, yeah, the eye test matters. Yeah, I know. That's why it's good to win all your remaining 10 games by double digits or more. Not playing bad against a bad team and needing a field goal at the end to keep it alive or whatever. No. Yeah, eye test does matter. Win 10 games in a row all by double digits. There's your eye test. So, but it's just, I struggle with it, man. Oh, Rick Meyer's son knocked Notre Dame out of the playoff by scoring a touchdown at 2 a.m. when you're down by 35 or whatever. Like, I don't know. So I'm open to wherever you guys think this is, whatever you think we should discuss. It's worry week for Notre Dame, and you're helpless and you can't do nothing but sit there. You can't do nothing but sit there. And here's the other thing. If the rankings are what I think, that if you move to 8, that is the committee saying we're not taking Notre Dame out of this thing no matter what app. That's what that tells you. If you're lucky enough to move to 8, it tells you the committee's decided Notre Dame's in and they're not leaving it to chance. That's what that means is they want Notre Dame in. They put him at 8. Oklahoma drops below them. And then Notre Dame's pretty well situated there. Miami is the eye test, John. That's the other thing. If Miami's behind Notre Dame in this one, then it eliminates that problem. Do we all agree on that? If Miami doesn't jump Notre Dame now, there is absolutely no way they could jump them next week when neither team plays a game. They're not in the ACC title game. Right? So the big Miami test is tomorrow. If you're ahead of Miami, there's no way they're going to jump you in the final one if they don't jump you on this one. When you have 12 games from Notre Dame, 12 games for Miami, nobody has anything left to play. If they don't jump you tomorrow, then you've cleared then the Miami problem goes bye-bye. Then you got a BYU situation, a BYU Texas Tech situation. Then I think you're looking for Georgia to beat the hell out of Alabama situation, right? So if they move you up to 8, you're golden, and it tells you they know Notre Dame's in and they're not risking it, and you get the home game, and it's the best case scenario. If you stay at 9, then you got to see what happens with these championship games. I don't know. But I'm rooting for Duke in the ACC title game. I know that. I'm rooting for Duke. What do they got? 5 losses? I want the ACC to have a 5-loss champion so everybody could laugh at how bad their conference is. I don't respect it. It's not even entertaining. I don't like that conference. As always, thanks for being here. It was a rocky road to get here. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. It helps in the algorithm. Notifications on. That way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or Always Irish Shake. Twitter's an absolute nightmare. I go on there to post my stuff. Every single tweet in my feed is somebody crapping on Notre Dame. So they got me targeted in the algorithm because every single tweet I see when I just log in is somebody crapping on Notre Dame. I've had to limit my Twitter time to not lose my mind. And it's just, it is what it is when you have this on the line. So I understand it, but I got to limit my exposure for my own sanity. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can get it. Notre Dame on SI, read all about it. Article up for you today about Notre Dame's journey from 0-2 to winning 10 in a row and what has changed and where Notre Dame needs to go next. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Link in the description. If we're going to have a playoff run, this is going to be really exciting. We did it. We had a lot of fun with that last year. Tom says, John, please don't let them bastards get you down. They don't get me down. It's just that I've got to limit the amount of engagement with just these clickbait clowns because it's just not a good use of my time. So I'll jump in there, reply to them, rebuttal something, and get out. But if you just stay there, every next tweet you want to respond to in defense of Notre Dame having to prove that they are allowed to exist, right? So it just gets old. And it's good to limit it. Yeah, Sly, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. So I hope Lane does the same thing to LSU. He's done everywhere else. Whatever, man. And the other, you feel bad for the Ole Miss players because they didn't ask to be in the middle of all this, right? I really do. I feel bad for the Ole Miss players. They're having the best season that program's ever had. all of the focus should be on what a good year they're having, historic, pumping them up or whatever. And it's not, because it's all about Lane Kiffin. I really feel bad for the players. But here's who I don't feel bad. Ole Miss's administration. Because when you hire Ole Miss, there's enough body of evidence of his narcissism that you should know you're going to get burned at some point. So I feel bad for the kids at Ole Miss. I don't feel bad for the administration, because you know how Lane is. He's going to burn you, man. It's just a matter of time. They should be lucky they got 6 seasons out of the guy. That's way longer than I figured he would stay at Ole Miss if things went well. So I don't feel bad for them, because when you hire a guy like this, you got to expect something like this at some point. This is who Lane is. This is how he operates. Okay, that's it. By the way, I have asked that person to debate me, and they won't. I reached out to him on DM on the LSU side, and I said, hey, now that you got this Kelly thing's gone and you guys want Freeman, this was a few weeks ago. I said, let's talk about it. No response. So that is. Your call-in line says you're offline, brother. Ohio Pod, I'm doing the StreamYard links. It's not the phone number anymore. You hit the StreamYard link and join that way. Here's the link. And you jump on digitally. You don't need to show your face. You could do audio only or that. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. And so it's this is an uncomfortable week. It's an uncomfortable week. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It just is. So anyways, that's where we're at for now. Let's do a couple of these chats, and then we'll bring you on. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. And then regarding also the Ole Miss thing, there's this question of, do you do the Florida State thing where the player got hurt and then they drop them in the rankings or whatever because of whatever? It's a little different when it's coach. You could argue it's a bigger deal in some ways and less of a big deal in other ways than a player. I don't think it's fair to the Ole Miss players to drop them because Lane Kiffin's ego. Like, I don't think that's fair to drop a one-loss SEC team because their coach has this ego. And I don't know how far you could drop them with one loss anyways if you wanted to play that game. So feel bad for the Ole Miss kids. Do not feel bad for the Ole Miss administration. And then let's see how it goes for Lane Kiffin at LSU. It's ironic. You had that string of guys, a few of them that all won titles at LSU. Then Kelly flames out. Now let's see how Lane Kiffin does. If he gets a title too, all it does is just show how bad Brian Kelly is at this and how little he cares. That the 3 guys before him could get it done. The guy that comes after him could get it done. And he's the one in the middle that couldn't do anything but ruin it. So I don't know. And the other thing is, man, I know I'm weird, but I would have liked to see Lane Kiffin stay at Ole Miss and create something special there. Get his statue, break every record, be the one guy forever, win a title at Ole Miss, be their Newt Rodney forever, because they don't have that history of winning. Like, anybody could go and win at LSU other than Brian Kelly. Anybody could go win. So I don't know. Ego wasn't involved, John. Yeah, you want me to believe anything Lane Kiffin doesn't involve ego? Are you outside your mind, Kent? This guy is a narcissistic egomaniac like many coaches are. It's all about him. John, go read the article. I know what the hell's going on, and not all of it points to his ego. What do you mean? Ole Miss doesn't want Kiffin to coach playoff game. He wants to, and the players want him to coach also. This is the most insane concept I've ever heard of in my life. You want Ole Miss's coach to be LSU's coach and Ole Miss's coach at the same time? That's what we're doing? That Lane Kiffin wanted to commit to LSU but finish coaching Ole Miss. Tell me how this is going to go. How's signing day going to go? That's coming up in a couple days. If Lane Kiffin wants to be the 2 head coaches at once, how would that go? That's what a narcissist thinks. It's all about him. He wants everything. So he thought he would be able to commit to LSU, but coach Ole Miss in the playoffs. You got signing day, and depending on how long Ole Miss is in the playoffs, you have the portal window too. So you really think Lane Kiffin should be able to commit to LSU, coach Ole Miss, ruin their signing day, and all the while this is going on, Lane is building a staff for LSU, recruiting guys to LSU, telling the Ole Miss players to come with him to LSU, but we want him to coach Ole Miss? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. You can't allow, if you're Ole Miss, you can't allow that to happen. And I understand the theory of like letting him finish out the year, whatever. You can't let LSU's coach Ole Miss in the playoffs and get through signing day and then the portal window. You can't do it. You can't do it. I think Lane wanted out of Ole Miss, but he didn't figure they'd be good enough so it would end like this. That's what I think happened. I think he wanted to leave after this year, but he didn't expect them to be in this exact scenario that makes him look so bad that furthers his reputation of leaving places he goes unceremoniously. So I don't know. But I don't think they penalize a one-loss Ole Miss. I really don't. But I understand why their administration said, we cannot let you recruit to LSU while you're our coach. So I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. So we'll see. Listen, LSU has every advantage in the world. If you're not elite at LSU, you are truly bad at all of this. Only Power 4 team in the area. You don't compete with anybody else in the state for NIL or any resources. It's all about you. 300-mile radius, all the 4 and 5-star talent you need in a little radius net where these guys are grown up to want to go to LSU, even if an idiot like Brian Kelly's the coach. They want to go to LSU. It is one of the easiest spots to win at if you do it right. More than half of their recruiting class is done, and it requires no effort. These are local guys, born and bred. They want to play at LSU no matter what. They're 4 and 5-star guys. You don't almost have to do anything. Brian Kelly even messed this up. It's unbelievable to mess up the LSU job and all the advantages you have. Unbelievable. Anyways, that's enough about that. He'll be at another school in 2 years. I don't know, but I understand Ole Miss's position from the administration. And the other thing that would do is if you let Lane stick around, you're not able to hire your next coach. So you're a hostage to Lane knowing he's leaving. That's totally untenable for Ole Miss. You cannot expect them to live that way. You're going to know he's LSU's coach. Let him ruin your recruiting class, do all this, and then you can't hire the coach you want. Everybody else is hiring people. You couldn't do that. So instead, in a hurry, they hired one of their assistants, and now he's the guy because I think they want to show that committee stability. That's what I think that was. They wanted to show that committee that they have stability in-house, promote that guy, and then keep it all looking like it's together. Lane Kiffin's going to Kiffin, and I don't feel bad for Ole Miss's administration. You signed up for this, and you got the full Kiffin. Just like I said, the full BK experience LSU got, Ole Miss is getting the full Kiff. At least they got 6 years. So here's where I'm at on this. Then we'll go to you guys. The Miami thing resolves itself tomorrow. If they don't jump Notre Dame, you no longer have the Miami problem because neither one of them plays another game and they're not going to jump you later. If they were, this is going to be the one. So all of your style points and the Rick Myers kid ruined the year and all this stuff, you're going to find out. If Miami's not ahead of them, then they are out because they can't jump you with no games. This would be the week. Then, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it comes down to wanting Texas Tech to beat BYU and then wanting Georgia to beat Alabama, and preferably by as much as they can. Is that it? Like, are we down the tracks enough that it's that clear? Because that's what I see. You want Georgia to beat Alabama pretty good. You want Texas Tech to beat BYU again and knock them out. And then Notre Dame should be set. If the committee's feeling frisky and they don't want to get risky, they move Notre Dame to 8, put Oklahoma in 9. That's if they're sure they're not taking any chances with Notre Dame getting booted. That's what you do. You switch those, and then Notre Dame gets the home game, and Oklahoma gets penalized for struggling against a garbage team that Brian Kelly ruined. Good defense, horrible offense. Oklahoma, good defense, horrible offense. But they struggled there, and so I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens. It's interesting. So I don't know. Let's get into this. Let's see what you guys think. Mark with props. Good morning. Eric, I see. I can't start with the Buckeye. What's going on, Mark?
What's going on? I'll start out with the good stuff. So as we wrapped up the season, CJ Carr, most efficient quarterback at Notre Dame since they've tracked the QBR. And the only guys ahead of him this season are Heisman candidates. And this is kind of in result of the negativity in the Patreon chat towards the guy. But in his first year, he has complete control of the offense. Does he make mistakes and misreads? Sure. But here's some statistics. We're the number 1 team in the country in scoring, points per play, touchdowns per game, yards per play, and all of that, number 1 in the country, last time I checked, is good. So we have one of the most efficient quarterbacks. We have the most prolific running back. And this is the most overall efficient Notre Dame team since they monitored the stat in 2005. And I know what you're saying. But efficiencies are adjusted to the opponent with the strength of schedule to avoid that, and they even adjust it towards garbage time numbers based on the win probability during the game.
Interesting.
So the value is proportionate to the opponent. In other words, the computers say we're good. So when I say that, keep that in mind. I'm talking to you, Kent Jackson. I showed you this morning. I was doing my arts and crafts. So this is a 3-team comparison like you were just talking about as it pertains to Tuesday, which is the most important poll as far as these 3 teams are concerned. And if you look, I've got green is the best of the 3 and red is the worst of the 3. Strength of schedule, strength of record, power football index, the polls, Sagarin, top 25 wins. And then, at the very bottom, the 3 common opponents, we've outscored the 3 common opponents by 20 more points than Miami. So every metric, we're first or second in all these categories. And, the movement after the conference championship game seems less important, in my opinion. But, I think we're going to be fine Tuesday by those, but that's what I was doing with markers and crayons this morning. For the bad news, I do have 2 doomsday scenarios for you.
Okay, let's hear them.
All right, I'm going to do this one first. This is a grave.
Nice little Notre Dame tombstone there.
So if Alabama, BYU, and Virginia win, that's 1 less at large. You take the 5 conference champions, which are circled, and that as it stands means we're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
So that means no Notre Dame or Miami. So that's doomsday number one. Doomsday number two, here's another grave. If Duke wins and Alabama wins, the committee has to take the top 5 conference champions because they're automatic qualifiers, which means no ACC teams are in the tournament.
Yeah.
And they have to take 2 groups of 5. Eliminating one of the final 2 at larges. I mean, look, this would be terrible for college football.
Now, what gets us into that dynamic?
This is if Duke wins, Alabama wins, they have that where they have to take the 5 highest conference champions. So as a result, you're ended up with two group of 5 teams. And
man, just try and sell that's best for the sport, man. Like leaving out a Notre Dame or a Miami for those teams. Come on, man. Like it would be rough. But Mark, if the dominoes all fall a certain way to where you're the first team bumped out, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but a tough lesson to learn. And we're just going to be mad all off season. And you just learned you can't lose those 2 games the way you lost them. Like if all the games that could have changed last weekend to make it more comfortable for us, you didn't get any breaks. And if everything goes against you and the breaks are beating the boys on this one, then that's your problem. And I'll be mad at Notre Dame all off season about it. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't know what this means for the ACC. I mean, I think it's as bad for them as it is for Notre Dame. But it was pretty depressing. Kind of making that up this morning. I was looking at the playoff scenarios, and I don't know how likely these 2 outcomes are, but I don't know how, unless they do something with Oklahoma and Notre Dame, these couple of on a lighter note, I want to give an Aeneas Williams update here. 10 carries, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns Saturday night. Leading rusher on the team. They got him in early. I want to talk to Mike Goolsby. Is this thing on? He was not even nominated for the Rodney Dangerfield I don't get no respect Goolsby Awards. And to nobody's surprise, he gave it to Kenny Minchie. So I'm submitting a request if they can retroactive that award to Aeneas Williams. I don't know who I got to talk to. I'll email you or Goolsby, but
that's a good one.
This production and every opportunity the guy has productions. He's averaging over 9 yards a carry, and you go all the way back to Penn State in a semifinal game, 51 yards on 2 plays, second leading receiver. Yeah. And I don't understand I know a lot of the jokes are all in fun and stuff, but this guy's an asset. And all he does is
every time he gets a chance, he makes play. You got to give him credit, man. Every time he's in there, he makes play. And it has been impressive. So that's one, a victory for you, Mark. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for doing the research.
That's it.
I appreciate it. I'll see you on Raw, Mark.
All right.
Good job, man. Good research. Man, I like all the extra stuff he does, man. He does the research. Eric, you're coming up. Dr. John, what's going on? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. This was kind of a last-minute decision to call you. That's why I don't have any ND stuff in the background, although that is a map of Ireland back there, and your name's on there somewhere. It's a family crest thing.
There you go.
Anyway, before we get into the nitty-gritty, shout out to your dad for that Thanksgiving greetings, and my daughters send it back to you. The other thing is an apology. At least I think I need to apologize to Kent. I called him a liar on Friday, I guess it was. He had said a member of the Notre Dame board was on the committee, and boy, I couldn't find it. But I was a little harsh. I should have just said he pulled a Nixon. He misspoke.
He
misspoke. Now, the Stanford game, I don't think it makes a hill of beans a difference as to whether we're going to make it in there or not. It's a nothing. The biggest reason that I wanted to call this morning, I don't remember who the caller was, but saying about that guy that got thrown out for targeting, was laughing about doing it. I remember my feeling when he came off, and I saw the laugh, and I just thought it was a thing about the ref, like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't target, that's what I felt. Doesn't mean I'm right. The more egregious thing I thought was when Love went down, some Stanford player had a knee right in that section where he was hurting. Now, whether it was intentional or not, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. And you'll never know. Anyway, I don't think that game is going to mean a thing, but you don't know what goes on in the head of human beings either. So, what that committee going to do?
Man, I have a really hard time believing that garbage time touchdown by Rick Meyer's son, who finally got in the game, is going to be the reason Notre Dame's out. They've won 10 games in a row, all by double digits. I don't believe that it came down to that, but I got messages from people going, that's it. We're going to be out. You didn't slam Stanford late in the second half. That's going to cost us. I'm not convinced that it's going to move the needle or whatever. I'm not. But would it have been nice to keep the pedal to the metal and win by 50 or whatever? Yes. It didn't happen, but man, I don't think the margin is that thin that Rick Meyer's kid's going to cost Notre Dame a chance.
No, I thought that was BS too. I mean, you still had a double-digit win. The AP didn't change at all.
Yeah.
I didn't see the coaches, but so I don't think that game's going to have any bearing. But speaking to Mark's presentation this morning, I think we ought to get him to the committee, because if you go to some metrics like that, it takes out some of that human element. Now, maybe we don't want all of that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was fantastic. You have so many guys on this show that study this stuff. It's amazing to me. And the way he laid that out, I mean, that's what we should be doing with this whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
You're always going to have arguments.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, I was reading about that FPI measurement of all this crap they value. Notre Dame is in the top 5 in a lot of these numbers. Like, they're ranked down, but a lot of their metrics play well with FPI and all that in the top 5 for the metrics. And that committee leans on that a lot. And I think that's been some of the difference between Notre Dame and Miami's gap, is a lot of those like metrics favor Notre Dame heavily. And so I don't know, Doc, but man, this is a real lesson in control your own destiny. So you're already celebrating and not on edge. That's what this is a lesson of. You gotta keep your life in your own control and not a committee, or sit there and pray a bunch of games go your way. It's an uncomfortable place to be, but we've earned it.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable, I'll tell you that. Well, I expressed that to you in a text Saturday morning. I came to the scenario that Mark kind of laid out as some of the bad news scenarios.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to do that. But I think right now, my gut feeling is we're one of the 5 best teams in the country. And at this juncture, you pick you can't do 12 because you got all this conference crap going on. Yeah. But it should be the best teams in the country right now. Not what you did the beginning of September. How are you playing right now? And I think we're one of the top 5 teams. I really do. So
yeah, it will be informative because I really do mean this. If that committee's looking at the future scenarios this Saturday and they really want Notre Dame in for sure, you flip Notre Dame and Oklahoma 8-9. And if anything goofy happens, then they get knocked out and not Notre Dame. So you're gonna find out just how much they want to make sure Notre Dame's in that committee or in the final field. I don't expect Notre Dame to jump them, but if they wanted to ensure Notre Dame's in, you could justify it by saying Oklahoma's been iffy with their offense. They struggled against a bad, struggling LSU team with no coach. So we're going to see, Doc, but it is a wait and stress it out week. It's just the way it is. But I'm going to have some anxiety come 11 o'clock Saturday for that Texas Tech kickoff.
well, it's even earlier for me, John. It'll be 10 o'clock here.
Yeah, get it going. Let's get it going, and we'll figure out where we're at. Anything else, Doc?
Yeah,
Thanks for joining.
here's the best news. Main man and I had a long text session yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. He lives in Utah. He's not very far from Provo. I suggested he go up to Provo and put something in the water up there. But then I found out he's got a lot of connections to that coaching staff or whatever. Yeah. So that was out. But he assured me that we're in.
Yeah, hey, whatever. You know what? Hey, Texas Tech does look good. We give the Big 12 our time. They went and bought good players, and they have a good roster, and I hope they do it again. I saw some people say they should tank the game to get 2 Big 12 teams in or whatever. They're not going to tank this. They want to be as high in the rankings as possible. And they beat the hell out of that team earlier. BYU could barely even score a point in that game earlier in the season. You got to hope you get a repeat of that.
Yeah, that's where I'll be. I'll be on the edge of that couch and I'll be down main man's throat if it doesn't happen. So
yeah. So it's just going to be an uncomfortable week, and we figure out what happens here, Doc. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for joining.
That's it. I thank you for the show. It amazes me that how many of these guys really study this game. And Mark has got it down. We got to get him to the NCAA as fast as possible.
Yeah, he should be the spokesman on ESPN. It just says Mark with glasses, and then he comes up there with the whiteboard in front of the whole country and breaks it all down.
Absolutely, partner.
Doc.
All right. Have a great show.
Mark sent me a text message in the morning early, and it was a picture of his counter full of whiteboards and crayons and markers, and he goes, "I'm getting ready."
Oh man, I love it. I just love it. All right, go Irish. We'll see you later.
Have a good one, Doc. We'll see. It's so funny. I'm like, we're in our 40s, and Mark's sending me pictures with crayons and markers. It's like my daughter's homework. Eric, good morning. Welcome, buddy.
Long time no see. How you been, Johnny?
Busy, man. Busy. Kent is giving us our time that I did not acknowledge Ohio State yet. I mean, really good win. That's what you should do against this Michigan team. It felt just about right. That's what you should do. And they did it. Ryan Day looks and feels way more comfortable in himself and everything of where they're at. You could sense it. Got the monkey off your back. Eric, you know what I've been saying? You know how you know you're really good is when you're number one and you don't get a lot of press and people aren't talking about you week to week because there's just really not been that much drama. You guys have just been winning and keeping it moving, and there hasn't been that much talk about. And it's the best program going right now. And it hurts me to say it, but it's a fact. That's where I'm at. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there was this cloud hanging over Ryan Day, right? The last 4 years, it was a cloud hanging over Columbus, a cloud hanging over this program. It felt good to go in there and do what we have been doing and doing it well. And yeah, there was definitely, even when the first interception came early in the game and you fall behind 6-0, from 2 field goals. It never felt like, oh no, here we go again. It
Yeah.
was, no, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to take it to them. And then the 12-minute drive in the second half, where we literally just shoved it down their throats, playing their style in the second half as the snow's falling. It was the nail in the coffin that basically said, you guys are not nothing anymore. Last year,
Yeah.
forget about it. It was lucky. The 3 previous years before that, you had Connor Stallions. You guys were cheating. And oh yeah, by the way, our technology in order to communicate to the quarterback went out twice during the game magically in Ann Arbor. Gee, I mean, it's like, if you can't, like, seriously, it's unbelievable to me the things that just coincidentally happen
Yeah.
when you're a Michigan man, I guess. But it felt good to get that out of the way, kick them out of the playoffs, open another door for Notre Dame. By the way, guys, I think there's 5 schools, 10 and you're in. You win 10, you're in. You're one of them.
Mm.
Don't sweat it, guys. You're in.
Man, but there are still, here's the tricky
You're in,
part,
Johnny.
Eric.
You're in, buddy.
The tricky part, have you ever known me to be calm and relaxed? Give me a break. How long have you known me? Multiple years? And you're surprised I'm worked up? The danger is when you look at like ranked 9, you're like, oh, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look at all that wiggle room. There isn't that wiggle room because 11 and 12 are not eligible for Notre Dame. 10 is the bottom line. And so there are some scenarios here beyond Notre Dame's control where they might have to be knocked out. If they don't move above Oklahoma and BYU beats Texas Tech, what happens?
The fact that these are real human beings in this room who have to answer to the decisions that they make is a very motivating factor. You can't put that. Sorry, Mark. I love Mark with glasses, by the way. One of my favorite dudes. I know he hates my team, but he's an awesome dude. You can't put that stat anywhere on your whiteboard, man. The emotions that go into this decision for these people. There's no way they put in a team over Notre Dame when you're looking at things, those metrics, and say, this team in the SEC. And by the way, there is an advantage here for you, right? Because there's a very real thing. They're not going to want to put too many teams from one conference in over the other when judging from Big Ten to SEC, because then they have to answer to the bias question. And so if they're going to say 3 Big Ten teams, which that's what it's going to be, I don't look for them to say, yeah, let's put 5, 6 SEC teams in this. They're not going to do that. That's something else you can't really look at as well.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is in this thing, dude. And by the way, from a Buckeye fan, this isn't me blowing smoke up you or your people's butts. As a Buckeye fan, Notre Dame might be the last team I want to see play. And that's real. That's real.
Yeah, it's and it would be interesting, depending on how these things hold, that Notre Dame could be looking at Ohio State before that title game, but more like second round. Correct me if I'm wrong. If that bracket holds, would that game not be played in the Rose Bowl? Is that where would be?
Yeah. So
could you imagine the pageantry? Could you imagine, even if it was Oklahoma and Ohio State, if that was the matchup and Notre Dame lost on the road in Norman or whatever, could you imagine a pageantry of Notre Dame or Oklahoma against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl? Man, that would be a beautiful, beautiful visual. Imagine
it would feel pseudo Cotton Bowl last year, Ohio State, Texas, which, hindsight being 2020, a lot of people looked and said, well, that's your national championship game. Obviously, it wasn't. Notre Dame had a hell of a comeback in that game and had us sweating at the end and took a huge third down throw to Jeremiah Smith. But you go back, in my mind, even go back before that, what was it, 2014, and when there was 4 teams, Ohio State, Alabama in the semis. That was the national championship game. Ohio State, Notre Dame in the quads in the Rose Bowl feels like a national championship game.
Yeah.
Does it not?
And it does. And then there's this argument of like, if we all generally agree Ohio State's the number 1 team here in the country, played the most consistent high-level football, reigning national champs, all that stuff. there's an idea of like, you would like to play Ohio State in the championship again and avoid them in a bracket if you could. What Notre Dame, this is rough, man. 1936, last time we beat you. Marcus Freeman's ran into Ohio State every single year so far, and it has not gone well. If you're going to get over the hump, you got to get over the hump against the best team at some point. So I don't know about that. I just hope we get there.
Yeah, you're going to be there. Come on, you're going to be there, Johnny. Come on. Oh, you're going to pull out the Buckeyes on me. Do you realize how good those would taste, even though they'll be awful if you were to beat us, dude?
I'm telling you. I'm eating them on air the next time Notre Dame beats Ohio State. I just hope I'm alive to be able to eat them on air, and I'm not a skeleton here. So, but they're sitting here for the next time we beat you guys. I eat them on air. I don't care how stale and moldy they are. Eric, let me ask you about this. As a neutral guy, like you're an Ohio State guy, but not a blind Notre Dame hater, you have respect for Notre Dame. So I respect your opinion. What do you make of the Notre Dame Miami argument? I see the pro Notre Dame angle, and I could understand why Miami people are mad. I can genuinely see both sides of it. What do you make of the dynamic? Is the committee getting it right or wrong?
The committee's getting it right. Here's the difference. You play this game week 10, 11, 12, and you get that result, it's a completely different argument.
Yeah, it was August.
Completely different argument.
Yeah, it was in August.
It was the first game of the year. It was the first game of the year, and I'm sorry, Miami. Look at who you lost to. Yep. If you're going to sit there and make the argument, hey, head-to-head means more, what about the head-to-head to the teams who aren't even in the argument who you lost to?
Yeah.
Okay? Like, the SEC talks about this all the time. It was a good loss. You had some bad losses, bro.
Yeah.
So I don't. To me, that is week 1 versus week 10, 11, 12. Games of 10, 11, 12. Completely different argument to me. Notre Dame lost 2 games by 4 points?
Yep.
To 2 teams who are arguably in the CFP argument. No, there's no argument there from Miami. I'm sorry. Notre Dame is obviously the better team here for what you're choosing to do at this point.
The losses Miami had were very poorly timed as well, because they happened and then the rankings came out, and then that set the stage for Notre Dame being so far ahead of Miami to create that original buffer. They lost those games in a bad window of time too, like right before we got to where the playoff committee started doing stuff. And
if you're going to make that argument,
they're mad though. I get why they're mad.
Sure.
But Eric, here's the problem I have. It's all on Twitter, anti-Notre Dame. Look, we beat them at why play the games or whatever. On my end, I'm saying if Notre Dame misses it, I'm blaming us for our 2 losses that you couldn't afford to have and you did, and that's our fault. I don't see accountability on their side of saying, why didn't we beat SMU and why did we lose to Louisville? Like, where's the accountability on you being mad at your own side for putting yourself in this position? If they have 1 loss, we don't have this issue. Notre Dame's out and they're in.
It's because they're so used to the victimhood. They got victimology, man. Yeah. It's go back to 2002, John. Oh, throw the flag. You guys got lucky. Ohio State won the national championship in double overtime. You shouldn't have won. Victimology, man. It runs, it just courses through that program. By the way, if you're going to use the argument that they're using, why isn't Texas in over A&M?
Yeah.
They only have 3 losses. They just beat you head to head. Pretty bad, by the way. So I don't know, man. I don't see that as being a real thing. By the way, Jeremiah Love going to be in New York, right?
Should be, but
right?
Should be, but Eric, really deflating end to the season there. He needed like under 100 yards with what he got in the first drive, under 100 yards to break the all-time Notre Dame record. You wanted him to get this Heisman push, and he gets dinged up in like the second series on something that could or could not be deemed to be dirty, and we could debate that. Really unfortunate kind of end there. Looks like he's going to be okay, but it wasn't the most fulfilling end for Notre Dame fans at 2 a.m. when that game ended.
He needs to be there.
Yeah.
I haven't. I've watched. I'm not going to say I've watched every Notre Dame game. I haven't. I've watched the big ones. every big game I've watched Notre Dame play in, he's been unstoppable. Unstoppable. Absolutely just terrorizing people. He's absolutely the best running back in college football, in my opinion. So he's got to be there. He's one of
Yeah.
the top 3. Even Chris, who loves Marcus Freeman, admits Jeremiah Love needs to be in New York, man. He needs to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, it is. Man, we were really open for a big boom ending there against Stanford. Load him up on yards and touchdowns, get him out of the game, whatever. It just didn't happen. So a little frustrating there. And Eric, it was weird on the post game show at 2 and literally 1, 1, 2 in the morning. I think people were stressed out from the long wait till the Notre Dame game, and none of the other games broke your way to give you more cushion. There was a lot of Notre Dame angst, but a really good crowd on the post-game show at 2 in the morning. That I was surprised how many people were up and still ready to go. So I don't know, man. Tomorrow's going to tell us a lot, because if Miami's still behind Notre Dame, there's really no way for them to catch them with nobody having any games left. So then you'll be able to avoid that problem. Then Notre Dame roots for Texas Tech and hopes BYU doesn't beat them, and it eliminates spot. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. No, I've seen kind of the back and forth you've had with some of the BYU people on Twitter, which is hilarious to me. It's kind of funny. With my work over at the College Huddle, and by the way, guys, I take off all my Ohio State stuff and I just look at college football from just a wide lens angle as a fan.
Yeah.
Have all these guests on like John and everybody else talking about their teams and everything. BYU fans, they're some of the nicest people, but they're starving for attention. They're starving for it, right? And I think there's a lot of jealousy in what you guys have, and they want that, which is wild. I got one thing I got to ask you, John, and I'll get out of your way. I know a lot of people don't want to hear a Buckeye on your show, but I love you, man.
At least you got a feel for the room.
Yeah. Know your crowd, right?
You know.
What do you think about this wild story about Michigan all of a sudden saying, if you guys want this money in the Big Ten, we out of here.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
be independent.
Let's
After
go.
so much crap they
Let's
have
go.
put it on you about being independent and you're
Yeah.
not in the conference and everything else. And now they want to be you. How wild is that, huh?
Yeah, it is funny. It's like the independence thing is only awesome when it benefits. You remember the COVID year too? Teams were like, maybe we should go independent for a year to be able to do whatever we want. Like, it is really funny that it when it serves you, it's fine. And when it doesn't, then we use it against. Hey, Michigan, USC, you don't like this deal? Be independent, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Michigan's got the brand. You can do it. Let's go.
The first school that signs a big television deal with Amazon or Netflix or whoever, that's going to bust open the gates, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, keep your eye on that, man.
Do you think they're serious? I saw USC's very much against this too. Michigan and USC seem to be the two. Are they leveraging, or are they really that dead set against this?
They're leveraging, and here's why they're leveraging, because the Big Ten wants a unanimous positive vote. And so Michigan and USC are both putting their foot down saying, absolutely not. We will not vote for this.
Yeah.
So you're going to get 16 out of 18. Now, the reason why some of the athletic directors seem to be for this, which we were all kind of like, why is Ross Bjork, the AD at Ohio State, why does he even want this? Like, this doesn't make any sense it's to save all the Olympic sports, man. We are hemorrhaging money when it comes to rowing and pistol and diving. And it's like now we have to be more serious about this, because we're having to pay players. This is legit now, guys.
Yeah.
We are NFL light. And if we want to keep up our nice little salaries and our 100 employees in this division of the athletic department, who's making anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000 per employee based on whatever level they're at, and then the big ones are making $1 million or more. If we're all going to keep all this gravy train going, How are we going to keep paying for these sports that cost us money?
Yeah.
That's the thing no one's talking about. That's why I think you see so many schools from the Big Ten being like, yes, please, this will help.
Yeah.
This will help and we can stay competitive. It's going to be very interesting because there's been a lot of talk. It's like, if we end up having to cut sports from this, how does that affect Title IX and everything else? And it's wild, dude. We're living in wild times, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes next. I'm also watching to see if this playoff expands even more, goes to 16, and then we cap it there, and then Miami could be in, and Virginia or whoever could be in, Notre Dame could be in, everybody could be in. It's going to be wild to see what happens. But Eric, I mean, it pains me to say, but perfect season so far for you guys. Really interesting title game matchup, and we'll see how that goes between the Fighting Signettis and whatever else. We'll see how it goes.
I got one question, John.
Yeah.
Maybe some of your Notre Dame people who are a lot smarter than me can help me figure this out. If Ryan Day wins the next 4 games, he'll be 20 in a row. In those 20 games, he will have beaten 11 ranked opponents in those 20 games. Has that ever happened before in the history of college football?
Yeah.
The name I threw out there was maybe Newt Rodney did something like this back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe Paul Bear Bryant. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of wild to think about. And I mean, the chances of that happen are slim to none. Let's be honest. I mean, that's a wild ride to, beat Indiana and then win, 3 consecutive games against some of the best teams in college football 2 years in a row. But that's what's on the line here. And I thought, man, if that were to happen.
Yeah, it's man, you got the best program going right now. And it hurts to say, but I got to admit it, it's the most consistent high level program going, and it just keeps churning out player after player after player. You guys got it going on, and I hate to say it. Eric, thanks for joining us on a Monday, man. It'll be interesting. We'll all be watching your game Saturday. We'll see what happens. And then tell the people where they could find your content.
Yeah, just the OHIO podcast, YouTube. We did Patreon now. John's my mentor, man. He's helping me out, trying to help me make a living at this now. We jumped off the deep end. It's been a wild ride. It's going well. Staying busy. It's why you guys don't see me in the chat, because I'm literally working at this now every day, all day long. But today, I was like, I gotta check in on my boy Johnny and let him know I appreciate you, appreciate your friendship, your help. And I hope to God I don't see you guys in the playoffs.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, and I hope that it sets up where we have that battle again, my friend. So enjoy title week, buddy. I'll talk to you offline.
And let me thank you all your listeners for your prayers for my niece Gracie. She's doing great. She's made a full recovery. So thank you much.
Awesome.
God bless you all. Take care.
Awesome, man. Glad we could be a part of that. And Eric's a good guy, man. I tell you guys this, I see the frustration in the chat. I understand it. Eric's a good guy. I can't hate him even if I wanted to. All the Ohio State stuff, he's too nice. It's really annoying. I want to hate the guy. He's too nice. It's really frustrating. Jerry, welcome. What's going on? Good morning.
Hey, how's it going, John? How are you?
It's going good. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. What's going on, Jerry? Thanks for being here. We're in waited out week for Notre Dame. What do you make of the Stanford game and where Notre Dame's position? What do you think?
So I just joined the Patreon, I think the day before the Syracuse game. So that was good timing. But after the game, I agreed with your comments, how it felt weird, right? It was nice that they finished off this 10-game stretch where they won all these games and in dominant fashion, right? You see so many teams week in, week out struggle against these dying opponents and dying teams. And, Notre Dame, and credit to Freeman, just handled business, for that 10-game stretch. Mm-hmm. And what was weird, unlike last year, right? We beat USC, we knew we were in. So that's still kind of over our head. But going in the Patreon chat, I started to worry for a little bit myself, reading all the negativity, which I get, but thinking this through, right? You look at Oklahoma, this team hasn't looked good since mid-October.
It's true.
They've been struggling. You look at every single metric that the committee uses, and they're sitting there, 15 in the early 20s, where Notre Dame is top 10 safely, and most of all these, analytic, components that they review. And I think what the committee would want to do, and I think what they ultimately will do, is they want to avoid this Notre Dame Miami thing.
Yeah.
I get Miami fans. My best friend's a Miami fan, so I understand. But again, football, college football is a 12-game season. It's not a 1-game season, and I think that Notre Dame will jump Oklahoma and move to 8, which I think at that point Irish
And
Nation
you're
can.
in.
They're in. You're done. Yeah,
So,
because I think
dude,
what.
this has grown on me since I got up early this morning. Fighting Irishman, I got you, Tom, Renee, Rodney. You're all coming up. I don't know the order. I'll figure out who was in first. It dawned on me. If some people are saying Oklahoma's in, right? Like whatever. How much benefit are they getting being 10-2 in the SEC? Because they haven't looked good. They have a good defense and an offense that struggles to move the ball. Barely won in a battle against a bad LSU team. Like whatever, they're barely getting by. But are they going to get to remain in the 8 because they're a 10-2 SEC team? Is that what it comes down to? Or do you flip them to ensure Notre Dame gets in, even if there's chaos? If the committee loves Notre Dame that much, flip them.
And that's what I think ultimately happens. I mean, right, the Oklahoma-Alabama game, that still makes no sense to me. Alabama did everything they could to lose that game and did barely. But outside of that, right, Oklahoma has the win against Michigan early in the year. I don't think Michigan's that great of a team. They have ranked wins against Missouri, which I have no idea how they're ranked, and Tennessee, who hasn't beaten anyone with a pulse all year.
Yeah, but dude, it's so weird to me how different people weight all of the inputs that go into the equation differently. Do you get what I mean by that? Like some people, it's how you're playing. Other people, it's who you beat. Sean says they beat Alabama. Fine, they have better wins, but they're struggling every week against bad teams now. Does that not count? As long as you beat Alabama, you could play like crap against everybody else as long as you barely squeak by and we ignore it. Like, it's weird to me how everybody weights the inputs of the equation differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing is we don't understand the full transparency behind what this committee views, sees, what they favor. Is it good wins? Is it overall dominance? Is it good losses? I mean, it's difficult, and I think ultimately, I think the committee's going to hedge their bets. I think they move Notre Dame to 8, Oklahoma to 9. If you were to do a parlay, so that would mean the only way Oklahoma would be eliminated is with a BYU win and an Alabama win. Currently, Vegas has that as a 10% chance of happening.
Yeah. It's I'm telling you, if the committee likes Notre Dame as much as some people think they do, and the rankings so far have proven, they could always do that flip and just argue Notre Dame's playing better football right now, and we think they're a more well-rounded team. And Oklahoma's offense is genuinely not good, but their defense is strong. Like, they could make that argument. So we're going to find out tomorrow. At the end of the day, I don't think it happens. I think they reward the Alabama win, and I think they value 10-2 in the SEC. But if you get that surprise tomorrow, then Notre Dame's in and you're hosting. So bundle up.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a lot to be excited about. I think either way, I do think we're fine. I know we haven't had any breaks as far as games that we needed to go our direction so far for the past 2 weeks. 3, if you even look at the Alabama-Oklahoma game. But I'm confident. And John, great job with the Patreon. It's been a blast. The content's great. The media is great. You, Goolsby, Hyde. I mean, it's a good time.
Man, it's a unique community over there, and man, it's grown a lot in the last couple years. This year to August and loading up, it's just a cool feel over there, and we got really good guys that all have their little areas of expertise. It's working out well. Thanks a lot for jumping on board, man. Hopefully, we have a playoff run to enjoy.
Hopefully, take care, John. Go Irish.
Hey, thanks a lot, buddy. Have a good one. Good, that's a good call. I think that's first caller, a first timer. Anders says, I think Notre Dame would be lucky to stay at 9. What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? Bump Alabama for barely winning over a bad Auburn team? Is that what we're doing? Like, who else is going to, if you're saying Notre Dame's lucky to be at 9, who are they putting ahead of them? I don't think Miami's jumping them. BYU's not jumping them, and Alabama struggled against a horrible Auburn team, and they're going to jump them? I don't see it. And there's also the other thing that informs me. When you look at the votes, like on the AP and the coaches poll, and they have the amount of votes or whatever, there's a comfortable margin there between Notre Dame and Alabama. That kind of informs me to that gap too. So I don't know. Yeah, Oklahoma would be lucky to stay at 8. If this committee knows that they want Notre Dame in, they jump them and put Notre Dame in 8, and then Notre Dame safely in and let Oklahoma sweat out the BYU game. I'm just telling you, if they want to make sure they look at FPI and everything else, say Notre Dame's top 5 team, we're keeping them in, that's what you do. And when they ask the guy out of that app and you just say, look at their offense, it's bad, and Notre Dame's playing more consistent football the back half of the year. So I don't know. It is, I don't know. It's really, really interesting. The Fighting Irishman, if you're on hold, you're going to come up. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining.
Top of the morning, Johnny. How we doing today?
We're doing good, buddy. What's going on?
Not too much. I feel the same anxiety as you do with possibly getting pushed out. Just a couple specifics like the BYU Texas Tech game. Just on how everybody hates us. So, there's always that fear factor. But I'm starting to lean towards that we are a little bit more safer than not. And I look at the Miami Notre Dame comparison as, again, it was game 1. There was a lot in Miami's favor, and they barely squeaked by a Notre Dame team that played horribly when Miami played great. So I like trolling the Miami fans and saying that a good Miami team is about as equal to a bad Notre Dame team. With that, on top of the fact that Miami didn't even leave the state of Florida for, they had like 8 games all year that were in the state of Florida. So that could possibly be hurting them as well. But I think everybody's judgment on Notre Dame is specifically just the hatred towards Notre Dame. Other than, the head-to-head, nobody else has any significant say-so about that game on why Notre Dame should be. And even with that, everybody cries about the CFP and the AP poll, but nobody brings up the coaches poll where they have us in the same exact position.
Yeah.
So clearly the coaches are viewing Notre Dame as a team that's, deserving of their ranking, whether it's in, at that 9 spot and ahead of Miami. So, that conversation should be shut down quite quick, other than, it's just a pure hatred everybody has on Notre Dame. It sucks that we don't have that extra game, conference championship, or I feel it is inevitable at some point down the road that Notre Dame will end up being in the conference, just because on how everything's panning out, and with all the talk now, if Notre Dame does get left out in one of these brackets one year, it'll be because they're, don't have that extra game to put on their resume.
Yeah.
But
and sometimes that works for you, and sometimes it could work against you. Like, it really does vary.
Sure.
Like, there are certain times where you would rather be in the playoff and not deal with that game, and you like your little spot. You're like 11-1. You get to host a game and you don't have to deal with that. That's not bad. So I do feel like there are going to be years where you would like an extra game to prove a point.
Yeah.
And there's going to be other years where you're like, no, I'm good. I'm good right here. Like, we'll get ready for the playoff.
And even still, not every single team that's in the playoffs is going to have that 13th game either. So I don't. That's another thing I don't understand, because there are the teams that go in, 11-1 and or 10-2, and that's all they play, and they got to wait just like Notre Dame does.
Yeah.
So, and it's weird. Since the first 2 games, they have showed dominance. They have been on the up. There's been, sometimes play calling seems a little off at times and everything, but this team is a lot different than last year, I believe, probably because of CJ Carr and having the quarterback factor that actually passes the ball. And what's he lead the nation in like throws over 10 or 20 yards or something? So we haven't had that in years. I couldn't even tell you the last time we had a quarterback that was just steady throwing the ball good that we actually brought in young and not a transfer or anything like that. Most of the quarterbacks that have been here, at Notre Dame since their inception have tend to be um, the dual threat quarterbacks. So having CJ, I think, helps a lot. And yeah, I'm excited to see how far we can go, and hopefully get that rematch with Ohio State, whether it's in the playoffs or well, I guess it wouldn't be the championship game, but yeah. And one thing I do like to touch on with all these SEC homers is the fact that everybody can, talk bad about Arkansas and being on the low end of the SEC, but yet every elite SEC team they've played has, they put up 400 yards, 40
Yeah.
plus points, have kept every minus Texas, I guess, but have kept them all on their toes. Yet Notre Dame goes to Arkansas, wins 56-13,
Yeah.
and no comparison gets brought up about that either. I mean, besides the fact that again the SEC is ESPN's favorite, everybody loves the SEC, and they all start off ranked, so they play each other. Mind you, that they only have like a real 9-game schedule because the fillers that they put in tend to be high school teams, and then you have teams like FSU who straight up throttled Alabama, and you know I just find it kind of funny. So that brings it back to the main point that it's purely hate against ND that really motivates any conversation anybody has against Notre Dame. So
Yeah, that's and they're coming out of the woodwork, man. Social media is after us. Everybody's after us. It's nobody
year.
likes you
Every year.
when you do things different, man. You're asking for it. You're the outcast. You're the independent one. Like you're gonna get it. It's I don't know, man. The committee seems pretty favorable to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
A decent amount of like the coverage on ESPN and stuff is like they're kind of defending Notre Dame's numbers. Like I know Heather Dinich will get on there and defend Notre Dame's stats and a lot of that stuff. So it's I don't know, man, but it's going to be a stressful week to see. And tomorrow night's going to tell us a lot. And then Saturday we're all going to be it's going to be stressful.
That's for sure. Yeah, I was actually surprised this year that there was a lot of like commentators or people that have a significant word within the industry actually viewing Notre Dame as throughout the season like a top 5 team all year. Even Reese Davis had Notre Dame like 4 for most of the year. He was looking at them as. So it's everybody keeps crying again about the AP poll, how they don't get nothing right, and then the CFP poll, well they're favoring Notre Dame, and then nobody talks about the coaches poll again, but yet they have us in the same exact position. So, and again, I've seen anywhere from people having Notre Dame from 5 to basically 10. So let's hope that they weren't just playing around and it manages to stay where it's at. Hosting another playoff game would be nice, and putting us in that A spot would probably make me feel a little bit more secure about the situation with the conference championship game still going on, and a couple of those games that could possibly determine what happens to Notre Dame. But yeah, it's another exciting year, and hopefully we can make it all the way.
Yep, it's we'll see, man. It's been a wild run this year, and you won 10 in a row by double digits. You can't do much else to make up for 0-2. We're gonna find out if it's good enough. Irishman, thanks for joining, man. Hop on again soon.
No problem, Bob.
Have a good day, buddy. Thanks. We got some new people jumping in. Use the link if you want to jump in. The phone lines, they may be gone forever. I don't know, but there's few people asking, how come the phone line isn't working or whatever? We're doing it digital, baby. Welcome to the new age. Rodney, you're coming up if you're on old. Daniel, y'all going to be big mad when the committee honors head-to-head. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Why is this statement phrased as if, I don't understand. Why is this statement phrased as if head-to-head has not already been a part of the equation? Some people act like this committee's ignoring Notre Dame and Miami's head-to-head until the last minute. That makes no sense. That is already in the equation. That's already in the moving numbers of things they're considering. I genuinely don't understand how some people think head-to-head is not a part of this at all, and then at the very end, they're going to throw that on top. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Head-to-head has been a part of the equation the whole damn time. So that makes no sense. What about common opponents? What about this? Miami beat 3 or 4 common opponents by more while giving up less than ND. Oh, and Miami beat Notre Dame. Here's what you're conveniently ignoring. Horrible losses. I don't respect losing to Louisville the way you did, and I definitely don't respect losing to SMU. By the way, really embarrassing that you let little old SMU join your conference, and I don't even think they were worried about the money. They just needed a home, and then they come in there, and they're almost in the conference championship right away, and they beat Miami and all this stuff. Embarrassing. That's a bad loss. It's a bad loss. Oh, they're pretty decent. Bad loss. Louisville, bad loss. I don't respect Louisville. Bad loss. So the problem I have is all of these Miami people, when they debate, they conveniently leave out their losses in the equation. I hear about the common opponents. I hear about the head-to-head. I never hear anything on the Miami side take accountability for those 2 games you lost that you had no business losing. That's how I know your argument's disingenuous. When you ignore the losses. You give me the head-to-head result and the common opponents, and you ignore the bad losses, which, by the way, are getting worse. With SMU losing this week, that loss looks even worse. So if you want to be fair, you got to add in the positive and the negative. All I see from the Miami side is the positive and no accountability for your own losses. That's the problem I got. Couple super chats, right back to the calls. Oh, boy. $2 holler, I'm still grumpy. Well, go for it. Ed Page, $5 holler. Do you know how to keep a Notre Dame fan in suspense? I'll tell you tomorrow. Yeah, no kidding. It is going to be a little stressful. Pat says, nothing's changed. Outside some shuffling above Notre Dame, the rankings shouldn't change. Miami's dead and walking. No conference championship means no game, no chance jump Notre Dame. Yeah, tomorrow's the last Miami hurdle. It really is. Napolitano or whatever. I just mispronounced it. I don't know why that game was so frustrating to watch. Most disappointing blowout I've ever watched. I don't know. It's just you felt all this pressure and you had to wait all night, and then they piled it on in the first half, and you just didn't want to see them let off the gas. And the love thing, it was just a weird vibe at 2 a.m, man. $10 holler from the rotate. LSU fans already running their mouths. You'd think they'd learn their lesson. Talk about no situational awareness. It's not like Kiffin has a better big game record. LSU media is going to do what they're going to do. They're going to run with this. They told you Kelly was going to be a big winner at LSU and everything. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to peacock and jump around like, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. If he wins championship there, all it's going to do is make Brian Kelly look worse. $2 holler from Victor. What side of the playoff bracket do you want to be on? preferably where you avoid Ohio State, probably, but right now that doesn't look like it's going to happen. In my opinion, they're the most well-rounded team. So I think you want to be wherever they're not, catch them in the championship game. But right now, you would line up to play them in the Rose Bowl in round 2 if you beat Oklahoma. That's how it sits now. The ACC will boycott teams playing us if this all goes down. I have 2 responses to that. Number 1 is good, because I'm over the ACC Notre Dame arrangement. It's boring and it's lame. And I wish we could be done with it. You could keep the Clemson series thing you want to do, fine. Obviously we have a contract. They can't just tell them not to play. This isn't the 20s. They can't just tell teams not to play you. So contractually, I know this is like impossible. But like, they want to boycott us. I wish we could boycott them. I do not. The refs are horrible. The conference we make money with is lobbying. We have a contract to make money with the ACC, and they've been publicly lobbying against us. Most of the games are boring. The teams are not exciting and not good. The traditional high-level ACC teams are not good. Miami's probably the best one, and there's doubts if they'll make the playoff or if they're elite. Florida State's down. Clemson's down. Virginia Tech, when I was growing up, was a respectable ACC team. They're down. There's nothing going on in the ACC. It's a dying conference. But, dude, like, I get sick of seeing us play NC State and Syracuse and whatever. It's just, like, not that exciting. It's not that exciting. Now, that's number 1. Here's number 2. In the new dynamic of how college football operates, if Notre Dame said, ACC, you're in breach of contract for lobbying against one of your fiduciary partners in Notre Dame, we're done with you because you broke our contract by lobbying against us. I'm just throwing this out there. If Notre Dame said, you're lobbying against us, that's against our contract or whatever, we don't want to do this anymore, we're getting out of our lawsuit or out of this contract with cause. The issue is, in the modern college football world, would Notre Dame have trouble scheduling 12 games on their own? If you didn't get the automatic handful of games built into the ACC schedule, in these modern times, would Notre Dame have trouble filling out schedule on their own? Tom and Pat are saying no. It's fine. I'm just asking the question. I don't know. Just asking the question. Rodney, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, John? How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Oh, man, what a stressful weekend of watching college football. Here we are talking about how, isn't it great when Notre Dame's not playing, you can just lay back, sit back, watch other teams beat each other up. I'm telling you, man, that was some of the most frustrating, rage-watching 3 days I've ever been a part of. And then you get to our game, and I'm like, my God, we're blowing this team out when it was 42. Because I was getting caught up in the score because it was the announcing, John, all throughout the day. Yeah. I kept seeing in every network bringing up Miami against Notre Dame. Is Miami Notre Dame the only head-to-head that matters to anybody? What about other teams that have had head-to-heads? Why is that the only thing they're bringing up? And it was getting under my skin. And then
you're on it, man. You're on it. I was trying to figure out why there was such a weird feel like during the Notre Dame game, the Patreon chat, Twitter, whatever, and then the post-game show. I think it was a building frustration from all those games for 2.5 days that didn't go your way, and you had to wait that late for our game, and then Love got hurt, and then the way you kind of pulled off the gas late. I think it all added up to a ball of anxiety that all just came out. That's what I'm feeling.
Well, in the Love injury, dude, I kind of saw that coming. I don't know how to explain it, John, but at the beginning of that game, the way he was running, he was trying so hard to break one, and I just, like you were saying, I saw the Stanford players, they seem to be holding on to those tackles a little too long. And then when that guy knees him, I'm sorry, that was an accidental on purpose thing. He made it look accidental, but I think that was purpose. I really, really do, John. Again,
I thought even before the injury in the second drive, I thought they were tackling him and twisting his ankles in the first drive. I saw that, commented on it on the Patreon chat in the first drive. I thought Stanford played a little dirty, and it bothers me. Like, I thought they were a little on the dirty side.
Love got up slow a couple times before that, and I'm like, they're trying to hurt him. And sure enough, and that upset me so much, man, because I'm like, he needed that game to increase this. Again, I think he's going to be invited to New York. I think there's probably going to be at least 3 people invited, maybe 5, because you could bring Pavia in there and also the Texas Tech quarterback. So there could very much be, I could see five players get invited.
Oh, Rodney, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. I'm glad you brought it up. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. We could go a little longer today. I like this discussion. If you're on hold, you're going to come up. I've seen some people worried about Vanderbilt jumping Notre Dame. It's just not going to happen. It's not, that is not going to happen. They're not doing that. Like, they're just not going to do it. Pavia, I understand they would like to see him in the playoff. Of all the things I'm worried about, Vanderbilt jumping Notre Dame is not on the list. It's just not going to happen. Too big of a gap. Notre Dame's been too consistent. It ain't going to happen.
Well, John, here's the other thing. I got all caught up in what the announcers were saying. I think that's what was angering me, and I wanted to see Notre Dame blow Stanford out so there was no discussion. And the fact that they came back and got those 2 cheap touchdowns about 5 minutes after the game, to be fair, probably more like an hour after the game ended, I started to cool down a bit. And I'm like, I think a lot of that was just exhaustion. I don't mean exhaustion from the game. I mean exhaustion from it being, 2 a.m. our time. And I think they just lost focus at the end, dude. But, I mean, they still won by 29 points. And you're telling me that Miami's going to jump 4 spots because of, they slightly beat Pitt worse? Also, now, I did not watch the second half of that game. I watched the first half of the Pitt-Miami game. Didn't Pitt's quarterback go out?
If he did, he was back in there. I saw him in the second half. He was back out there.
But they did have the reserve in there in the fourth quarter, at least. So, I mean, that played a part. I mean, I don't understand why people just assume it's all things are equal. It wasn't. So I think that's just splitting hairs. I actually am starting to, and I even saw this when I was watching I really thought LSU was going to come back or was going to win that game. And then, Oklahoma found a way. But I'm like, I think that the lack of it being Oklahoma being so heavy on one side of the ball and basically ignoring the other, I think I actually think the committee is going to rank Notre Dame 8th. If they don't, it won't surprise me or it won't shock me. But I think if I had to put money down on it, I think we're probably going to finish in the top 8, and that's going to clear all this for us. And it's going to be really interesting then because then you're wondering, okay, if we're number 8, let's just say that happens, right? Even if BYU wins and beats Texas Tech, does Texas Tech stay above us, or do they drop Texas Tech to 9th then? And so we still have a home game. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking about these kind of scenarios. If Alabama beats Georgia, probably that scenario, Georgia stays in front of us, I guess. But in any case, I think it's more likely we go up a spot. The more I thought about all of this, like I was getting so mad and frustrated watching all these games unfold. But I'm like, again, you made a great point, John, last year, everybody put so much emphasis on the fact we lost to Northern Illinois, basically negating our win against A&M before that.
Yeah.
And then we had to win 10 in a row to get all that off our back. But apparently at midseason, you can lose to SMU and Louisville, and it shouldn't matter at all. I mean, it's like, why do those no one had a problem when Miami lost those 2 games, dropping to number 18. Some people had a problem with how far they dropped, but almost everybody agreed at that point we were ahead of them. Now, all of a sudden, it's like you've completely forgot about those 2 very bad losses at mid-season, not the beginning of the year. I mean, really, John, when you take all the criteria, they're really, and again, I know I'm a Notre Dame fan, but if you were to put that evidence up against me and you flip the uniforms, I would have a hard time arguing against that. I'd be like, yeah, I mean, at mid-season, we lost 2 bad games. I mean, I think that's what holds the day. It's not an equal 10-2. At equal 10-2, I agree, man. You got to take the head-to-head. But then Miami wouldn't have fallen that far. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody's forgetting that. Nobody had an issue. Once they plummeted, no one had an issue with that. It was only these last couple of weeks to create all this talk and all this controversy.
Yeah, it's man, it's just and what everybody does is you have your narrative that you want to push. You ignore the data that goes against it. You lean into whatever data and metrics in the theory that benefits your side, and you ignore the other one. It's the lamest exercise of all time, and it's all you see on Twitter. I want this to be over. I just want to know the bracket, and then we could get back to the football, man. I'm ready for it. I'm bracketed out, Rodney.
One other thing too, it would have been, and God, all that work Mark put in to that board's awesome. I wish there would have been something there with Oklahoma on that board too, so we could have seen how that all breaks down. I'm just saying that's so cool he did all that. But one last thing, John, I don't know if a lot of people are thinking about this. When Love went down in that game and we wanted to show, okay, he's all right, see, he's back in there. But also them going to their third string running back, Aeneas Williams, and Aeneas Williams having that kind of a game, I think they were showing the committee, see what we got, see what our third string is doing that. And I think that had a big part of showing what kind of balance Notre Dame has by our third string running back racking up that many yards.
Yeah, nope, that's a really, really good point. And it was annoying in the game that you felt like Notre Dame was pressing, not because they wanted to, but because they felt like they had to.
Yeah.
And you
dude, even Freeman's face, John, you could tell Freeman was not comfortable having to do that. You could I could see it in his face. He didn't want to do that. I felt kind of bad for him in a way.
It was uncomfortable because that's not how Notre Dame typically operates.
Right.
But Freeman felt like he had to. And the other question I have is, and I don't know whether this is fair or not, Love coming back, is it because he felt good enough to come back or whatever? Or did they really want to show the committee, don't even think about dropping Notre Dame because their best player's out for the playoff and you don't get to see Love? It is a part of that. They wanted to at least show the committee, okay, he's okay, so they don't risk that being a knock on Notre Dame. I don't know whether that's fair or not, but it crossed my mind.
I think it's what it is. John, I called it right when it happened. I said, I don't think well, I'm no doctor, dude, but I was like, bruised ribs. That's what just happened. Bruised ribs. That's what they said after the game was he had bruised ribs. I made that'll heal in a week or two. You know what I'm saying? So, my whole thing was, God, I hope it's not cracked. You know, that would be terrible. But it looks.
The X-rays came out fine. But again, Rodney, these are the problems that you find yourself in when you no longer control your own destiny. You have to kind of do things you don't usually do, like try and score 1 million points at 2 a.m. against a bad team and feel like you're resting. Run a guy out there that you should normally want to just rest and get healthy for whatever comes next.
Right.
These are the problems that come with not controlling your own destiny. And that's Notre Dame's fault, but it was uncomfortable. The announcers were annoying. Irish Cubby says the announcers, why are Notre Dame starters out there? Also the announcers, Notre Dame's got to win with style points and run it up. It all made for an uncomfortable watch at 2 a.m. Jesus.
I know. And you're right, dude. What was missing is that we just won for the second year in a row. We've won 10 games in a row. And I think last year was the same thing by double digits, right? So, and in response to Eric saying earlier about Ohio State, I think the one team that did that more than Ohio State, at least at this point, I think was Lou Holtz from 88 to 89. I think they had something like, again, I don't know the numbers, John, but something like 12, 13, 14 wins over ranked opponents during that stretch, I believe. Yeah. So, and then until they lost to Miami in the final game of the season in 1989. But from 88 to 89, I think it was Lou Holtz that had the most ranked wins over, again, correct me if I'm wrong, someone out there, but I think that's the answer to that one. But definitely Ryan Day's run right now. I mean, Ohio State's, you got to respect it. It's pretty amazing.
Yep. So Rodney, we're gonna see, and we'll get a part of the answer tomorrow night, and then we're gonna have to wait till Saturday to see. I'm holding out a little sliver of hope you get the bump over Oklahoma, but if they keep them there, I totally understand. I'm not expecting it, but I have a sliver of hope that they might do it to make Notre Dame safe and reward the consistent play more than Oklahoma's had. But I get if they don't.
John, I think it's kind of 50-50. I think it's kind of 50-50 right now, but I'm leaning a little, maybe 56 or maybe 51-49 that they do move us up. But either way, boy, that's going to upset a lot of people that are haters, man. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Rodney, thanks for joining and thanks for the donations, buddy. Have a good start to the week.
Yeah, you too, man.
See ya. Our Miami person's in here. Chris is obviously a Miami person. And they're saying we beat Pitt by 9 more than you. At no point in any of this do I see you address what should be done about your 2 bad losses. Are they just no big deal? We blow right by them and we compare the teams Notre Dame and Miami both beat. Like, at no point do I see you address your losses and the consequences that come with losing to 2 unranked teams. I don't get it. It eliminates your credibility in the argument when you don't even acknowledge your bad losses in the equation you're presenting in your argument. I just want to know, are they no big deal? You're just allowed 2 gimmies as long as you beat Notre Dame by a field goal. You're allowed to lose to unranked teams and nothing happens. Is that what we're doing? That's the problem I have, is that I just don't see any self-accountability. Where are the Miami fans putting out videos like I did saying if Notre Dame doesn't make it, they should be mad at themselves? Where are the videos on the Miami side saying if we don't make it, we have ourselves to blame for playing unstable football in the middle part of the year, and that's our fault? That's where you lose credibility with me, not even acknowledging where you guys have fallen short and how it works in the equation. You look right past it. It's just, they don't matter. You can lose to SMU. No big deal. You can lose to Louisville with 17 people in the crowd on a Friday night. No big deal. No big deal. I got a problem with that. But, what do I know? Rambling Ryan, what's going on?
Hey, brother. Good to see you. I'm a little under the weather. Sorry about my audio. I probably don't sound very good. I'm a little sick, but I'll be all right.
What's going on?
I wanted to comment. Obviously, I've been online arguing with Miami fans about the playoffs, but it's everybody else. It's the Uncle Lou and all those guys too. It's almost like some kind of mass hysteria. They've gotten themselves all worked up, and everybody's doing it to their fans, and then their fans see it from 5 different influencers and hear it on TV, and then they get all upset and start typing away, banging on their keyboard. But it's like mass hysteria. It's not really based in reality as far as I can tell. I also wanted to comment, Miami did not sell out a single game this year. And I know it's off campus. I know it's not the perfect stadium for them or whatever, but everybody else sold out their football stadium this year. Even stinky Penn State sold over 100,000 tickets to football games this year. And Miami can't fill up their own stadium. I don't even think they're not even a real football program as far as I'm concerned. They're half-button all of it. And until they want to get serious about being a real program, I don't think they should whine about anything.
There is a lot of people there when they played Notre Dame. Everybody show up for that one and then never again.
Yeah. And I don't even think they sold out for Notre Dame. Not according to the internet, they didn't.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all I wanted to say, John.
So do you think Notre Dame's safe? You feeling like they're going to make the field?
I think so, but the the mass hysteria thing is contagious. It's like a part of you see it in culture as well. So hypothetically, I mean, I'm a little bit nervous because people could be swayed by the mass emotional outbursts coming from all the knuckleheads online who are jealous of Notre Dame's independence. I mean, it's not like we're stopping them from being independent. They chose to be in the situation they're in, and but so I'm a little concerned, though, of because it's so hyperbolic. You have people going online saying they're not going to watch football again. They're going to demand that Miami drop us from their schedule. They're going to do this.
Well, wait a second. You mean like Miami dropped us from the schedule last year? Those cowards couldn't fit it in their schedule to come play us, backed out of that game. And then one day I log into the internet and I see we're playing at their place to start the year. They already backed out the year before.
Right. And it's like, it's all irrational, but rationality doesn't always win, unfortunately. So there's a chance, but I think it's pretty slim. We're three in power ranking. Statistically, I saw posted by somebody today that we're one of 5 teams that are top 15 in offense and defense yards or scoring or something like that. And Miami's not there. We have last year as proof that we can make a run of it.
I do think that matters. I do think that proof of playoff concept does matter to the committee. And Notre Dame, for the first time in the modern era, has it. They made it before and then got embarrassed. This time they have playoff credibility. I do think that matters, even at a subconscious level to this group, to know if we put them in, they'll make us look like we're smart.
Yeah. I think a lot of the anti-Notre Dame stuff, specifically with Uncle Lou, who's a Georgia fan, and who got his butt handed to him last year by us. Yeah, I feel like he's scared of Notre Dame. He's scared of what's happening to our program, how solid it is becoming, how deep it's becoming, how good our recruiting has become, how good our coaching is, how all the NFL players want their kids at Notre Dame. And I think they're scared. I think they're afraid that we're going to become the next Georgia or Alabama dynasty. And I think that's part of why they're flipping out and making all the why Notre Dame, because they know that we can beat them now, and that they're not dominant over us anymore.
Yeah, it's man, it is interesting. This program is growing. This program is at a really solid level. When you're in it, sometimes you don't feel like you're rising when you're like in it day to day, but Notre Dame is right up there. Really, really solid program. You got to get it over the hump. Anything else, brother? Thanks for joining me early on a Monday.
That's it, John. Go Irish. Appreciate you.
Go Irish, buddy. Hey, thanks a lot. We got a lot of new callers on here, and I'm trying to get people that have never been on before on. I do obviously love the regulars. You are what keeps the show going year round. I do try and get some people in that don't usually hop on our new names. Our Miami fan again. In case nobody realizes, Miami beat Notre Dame. Again, you are ignoring every other factor. If it was a 1-game season, Notre Dame against Miami, we don't have an argument here. You're doing the bit, man, where it's all pro your side and you ignore all of the other evidence on the other side. It would be different if you presented the evidence against you and then tried to refute it, but you guys don't even do that. I have yet to see one Miami person say, if we don't make it, it's our own fault for losing those 2 bad games. I just don't see it. Where's the accountability? David, what's going on?
Hey, Johnny, you can hear me?
Yep.
I want to switch up the topic a little bit and then get back to it. Probably just 2 or 3 points, and then I'll.
Okay.
What's with number one, Ole Miss? I guess they're not going to be in the playoffs because they lost their head coach, like FSU wasn't a couple of years ago, and they lost their quarterback.
It's going to be, I don't know what you do there. Man, it would suck for those kids if they get dropped because of Lane Kiffin's ego and they get dropped. But with one loss, even if you dropped them, it can't be far and they're still going to host, right?
I do think they're going to get in. But remember in the bylaws, I remember on ESPN, it's like 3 bullet points after this one main point. It says, if a starter or there's a big change before the playoff, the committee has, like a police officer, like I use my discretion to give you a ticket or not give you. You know what I mean? It's that type of dynamic.
No, I just, man, that's tough. And even if you did drop them, how far can you drop a team with 1 loss? They're not going to drop below anybody with 2 when you're a 1-loss SEC team.
Yeah, I think they get in, but if you were to go by the letter of the law, it's something that the committee is probably going to at least talk about or bring up.
Yep, that it is in the bylaws. That's for sure. The other interesting part of it is not just Lane Kiffin, but then he tried to take the offensive staff with him and told them, if you're not on the plane to Baton Rouge, you're never working for me, the whole thing. So he tried to gut the offensive staff on the way out, and like, what a mess. But that's Lane Kiffin,
if
man.
that happened, if you take the quarterback coach, I think that's a huge conversation for the committee, because it's just totally different. And then the players get dejected. They're not 30-year-old men playing in the NFL. They're 19-year-old kids, a lot of them, 20-year-old kids. So that matters if the person who recruited you when you were 16, 17 years old leaves, so that, but also you're in college football more than I am. You speak to more people. You're obviously a host of a big show. What's with these coaches leaving their successful team a month before the season's over? Does the team recruiting them need to baptize them on Christmas Eve? Why can't they just wait 6 weeks? I don't understand.
I do. It is really interesting you bring that
up. It's really rude. I just don't understand though. What's the advantage? I have a professional career. If I was going to give a big presentation, I would tell my company out of respect, can I wait 3 weeks to give this presentation and then I'll come in week 4? They're not gonna, life still goes on. I don't understand.
You are right in your observation that the calendar has accelerated. And I genuinely believe this. When you want to know why some of this is happening and teams aren't waiting till the end of the year to fire and start getting a new staff, I think the recruiting and the portal have a lot to do with this. Signing day is in 2 days. And then the portal opens in the early January for that window. I believe that may be why these teams want to get it going. So you want to have your new stuff set for that early December signing period and then the portal period. I really do think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, they want to get their, they want the kids sitting in front of the table and picking the LSU hat and putting it on their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a good point. I get that. But it's just, I don't know. It just seems weird. Other than that recruiting aspect, I see no logical other reason to do it. Otherwise, maybe just setting up your office early. But the last thing really I wanted to say is the committee, it's not their full-time job to be the CFP committee, right? Don't they have other full-time jobs?
Yep.
So I just think they see, hey, let's check in on Notre Dame, Stanford, 49-20. What's that? Oh, 30 points almost? Yeah, we're not going to review the last quarter. I just don't think they're, because remember we were worried about the Boston College game and it was only 2 scores or 15 points or something. I do think if it's above 10 points or 7 points, and let's say it was even 20 and not 29, the committee just, I don't know if they have so much time to go over each series, are they okay, 49-20, and then they would assume that there was a touchdown with the second players, not the starters in. So I think that's just not really a worry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really interesting though. 2 a.m, I'm doing my post-game show and people are like, Ron Paulus's bench warming kid just cost us the playoff with that late touchdown. But again, this is the absurdity and how uncomfortable it gets when you no longer control your own destiny and you're beholden to these other results.
And I said to my dad at halftime, it looks like we're going to put up 56 because I thought we'd get there and we didn't get into 50. So I get the comments. I just think it doesn't play out that way. Do you know what I mean? Because these committee's busy. So they're not going to spend 3 hours to watch the game from first snap to last snap. I just don't. I think they look at a score, and it's over 4 touchdowns of a win, and they're just like, okay, next worry, next game, next thing that we have to talk about.
Yeah, it's, man, you could nitpick it all day, but like, we're nitpicking the end of blowouts. This game was over. This game was over by the end of the first quarter, the beginning of the second quarter. You are never in doubt. After the fake punt touchdown, you were never in doubt. Like, whatever. We're arguing about the amount of blowouts. It's just, man, it's like the minutia in this thing. It gets in your mind, though. When you don't control your own destiny, you worry about everything. That's what's going on.
And then the last thing I'm going to bring up is, don't we have a room to drop down to 10? Because I think if we're 12 or 11, we don't get in. But I think we can drop to 10.
Yeah.
And if we drop to 10, we don't have to deal with Ohio State second, I believe. I think it's the 8-9, and the winner of the 8-9 gets to Ohio State.
Let me make sure I have this right. 11 and 12 are out because they're going to conference people. The group of 11 and so 10 is the lowest Notre Dame could be, and
that'd be good.
Here's the issue, though. What do you do with Alabama that's right behind us? Whether they whatever's going to happen with their conference,
well, they can jump us.
But then the other issue is the BYU issue.
Yeah, we would need BYU to lose.
Yeah, if they beat Texas Tech, they're going to want to keep both of those in, and then you eliminate one of the at-large spots then. So I think you want Georgia to beat the hell out of Alabama handedly, don't you?
I actually want whatever the committee does is to place us at 10, because I don't think we're better than Ohio State. I'm a Notre Dame fan since I was 3, so I think we're the best team in the world. But honestly, I don't really want to go up against Ohio State in the second round. I would like to get past the second round and see them like we did last year.
I've thought
people get hurt. The quarterback gets hurt in the third and the semi. You know, I want more time to get by, and I want us to get farther and farther.
David,
you know what I mean?
I've thought of this. The only issue is you're just playing with fire on the edge of that cut line.
I know.
I understand what you're saying, but you're dancing on the edge of disaster there.
You know, fourth down, you need to thread the needle and get 7 yards, and that's how the game's played with fire. But I'll let you go. Great show, and I'm sure I'll call in again after these part-time job committee people make their decisions, and they just review scores and say, "Oh, beat them by almost 30 points." They remain the same. You know what
David,
I mean?
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for the contribution. Yeah. Call again, buddy.
See ya.
Oh man. $2 a holler. Charlie Weiss's power scooter. That's a new name. Charlie Weiss's power scooter. $2 holler. Chris, the resident Miami troll. Someone said Cignetti's better than Freeman because he has a better record the past 2 years. Oh, wait, head-to-head matters now. I got to tell you, Chris, does anybody remember Caden the man? Does anybody remember from summer Caden? This is Miami's Caden. That was an Ohio State situation. This is Miami's Caden. The issue with you trying to troll this show is you're not good at doing it. You're just not good at doing it. You are the Caden of the Miami. That's what you are. Nobody's biting on your clickbait trolling. I love a good troll, but you just have to be better at doing it. Everybody knows I will highlight a good troll, but you got to be good at it. You're not doing a good job. Nothing is original. So I love a good troll job, but you got to be good at it. And you're not doing a good job, man. Nothing you said is creative at all. It's really frustrating. Troll us, but be good at it. Pat's coming up. $10 holler. So I know how you kids like them extra sloppy for you. Sloppy Joe. $10 holler. Billy Madison reference. I don't understand why people want to avoid OSU till they get to the Natty. I'd rather face OSU when they've had a month off as opposed to them having 2 games to regain their chemistry and timing. It's a good argument. That is a fair argument. I like that. I think people are just figuring if you think Ohio State's the best team, can you rack up 2 or 3 more playoff wins for the momentum of everything before you play them again, rather than if they're the best team and you play them in the second round, you're out? So I understand what you're saying, though, about catching them when they've been off a while. Is there an advantage there? I get that. Bama, this is interesting, too. Question ND fans. If you had a mediocre coach, would you take Kiffin as coach? Just interested in how you feel about him. Not a Notre Dame fit. Not at Bama, not a Notre Dame fit. Just the personality and all of the lane stuff. Not a Notre Dame fit. And I don't mean that like arrogantly. Like, it's not like I'm looking down on lane. Like, it's not that. It's just not the Notre Dameist personality fit, in my opinion. But really creative offensive mind, good recruiter. The guys love playing for him. They play hard for him, whatever. But just not the Notre Dameist fit. I've been saying, I think Lane Kiffin's good for the sport, but I wouldn't want him as my guy. But if I'm an Ole Miss or whatever, I love that. Like, whatever, it's situational. So I think he's good for the sport, but I wouldn't want him at Notre Dame. Not a Notre Dame fit, personality-wise. Good morning.
Hey, Johnny. So I want to talk about, you brought up a good thing about Notre Dame leaving the ACC, and I want to get to that. But before I do, I want to touch on a couple other things that were said. Number one, in the playoff, I've said it, and I think you and I agree. I don't think anything changes. Nothing's changed from a ranking perspective outside of Texas A&M maybe dropping like right in front of Ole Miss.
You know what it is, Pat? It felt like a lot happened, but not a lot changed.
Nothing changed.
Like, it's weird because you had all that football that we were all watching Friday, Saturday, and then 2 a.m. A lot happened, but I'm not sure a lot changed.
Yeah, and no, if anything, it was the down rankings, the down, like the SMUs and the Pitt, SMU and Pitt losing is going to knock them out of the rankings. I have to think by now Navy is going to jump up in there. So I don't see anything that hurt Notre Dame. Nothing really helped Notre Dame. I saw a lot that hurt Miami, like SMU losing, and now Notre Dame loses a metric of beating a ranked team, but so does Miami because they beat the team to make them not ranked. So I just don't see anything changing. I can see some people saying the SEC, Oklahoma and Alabama not playing well is a cause for Notre Dame to move up a spot. That'd be awesome if it happens. I don't necessarily think it's good. I don't think it needs to happen. So no, I think where Notre Dame is at is going to be where they're at, and nothing's going to change. One thing I wanted to harp on, Gilmore said that it's because of the computers, and Notre Dame should drop because of the computers, because the computers love Auburn. And what he's referring to is the old BCS model where they use computer rankings, and it's called the Sargon model. And the Sargarian model or whatever. And he's right. Auburn is ranked 26 in that model. So no. So they're ranked 26 in that model.
Did you see that?
Yeah. That's what I just said. No.
Like, dude, it's just, it never ends. It never ends. WPP, Mr. Cotter, kindly at least shower, shave, and put on a collared shirt before appearing.
I am showered.
This
I am
is
shaved.
a dignified forum and not now WPP. I gotta push back on you. You have called in, but you have not shown your face. Yeah. Cotter's at least. You call in, but it's audio only.
Okay, so it's the guy that says he never takes shots at people. So he just took a shot at me. I've said nothing about WPP. He's taking a shot saying that I need to shower and shave and put on a collar shirt. I am showered and shaved. Look at the host of the show. He's wearing a T-shirt. He hasn't shaved. And so what are we doing here?
Some of the pettiness in this show is what makes it so awesome, man. I love it.
But whatever. I'm not gonna respond. Anyways, so what Gil was referring to is these old. Yeah. Gilmore's referring to these old rankings that are still used today. The committee, I think I believe I read that the committee said they still use these computer rankings to help them determine initial rankings. I don't know if they continue to use it over afterwards, but he's saying because Auburn is at number 26, that's going to cause Notre Dame to fall.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is at 2. Notre Dame is ranked behind Ohio State and ahead of Indiana. So if his argument is that Notre Dame might fall because Alabama beat Auburn, Notre Dame is ranked ahead of both of those teams in that rating. So like it's just again another contrarian argument that really is just because I think somebody wants it to be true for whatever reason. I have no idea why. Anyways, let's move on to this conference talk about the ACC.
Yeah.
So I've actually done research into this. You can't both the ACC conference and Notre Dame, they're private entities. So you can get a hold of like Notre Dame's TV deal because NBC is publicly traded, but you can't get a hold of ND's deal with the ACC because neither entity is they're both private institutions. So you need a public entity to associate with them. So I don't know if Notre Dame's if the ACC is actually in breach of their agreement with the ACC or with Notre Dame with it when it comes down to pushing for Miami over Notre Dame and publicly dogging Notre Dame. But if it were true and you can get out of that ACC deal, if I was Notre Dame, I'd jump all over it. I would find any way to remove that chain from our neck. And here's why. They kill our schedule. It is the ACC's fault. There's no good teams in the ACC. So you can't play. You have to schedule Ohio State. You have to schedule Texas A&M. You have to schedule Alabama. You have to schedule these teams to have somebody good on your schedule because no one else good is around there. And so when you have the ACC so bad, it hurts Notre Dame. So it doesn't benefit Notre Dame in any way to be associated with the ACC because look at what they're doing to the committee is doing to the ACC. The best team in the ACC isn't going to make the playoff because they're in the ACC. The problem isn't with Miami. The problem is with their conference.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like you lose to Louisville and you lose to SMU. That looks awful. Those are garbage losses. That's what's killing Miami. If you're in the SEC and you lose to two teams in your conference because the conference as a whole is good, those losses don't look as bad. And that's why teams in the ACC are getting punished because their conference as a whole is so bad. I wish the Big Ten would get the same treatment as the ACC because the Big Ten conference outside of 3 teams is just as bad, maybe 4 teams, is just as bad as the ACC. There's nobody, Illinois is not good. Minnesota is not good. Wisconsin is not good. UCLA is hot garbage. Northwestern is hot garbage. All these schools are just garbage. So I really wish the Big Ten would get the same treatment. Now, if I'm Notre Dame, this is what I want to do. The old Big East is still out there. The reason you can't leave the ACC is because of your Olympic sports. The old Big East is still out there, and it's one of the most competitive conferences when it comes to college basketball, which is really, it would be a better place to park Notre Dame. And the old Big East is all these Catholic schools that never had football. So it's just such a better fit for Notre Dame to go to the old Big East because they don't have football there. So you don't need it. And you could put all your schools in there, all your Olympic sports in there, and they would get a nice home. And then if I'm Notre Dame, this is a pipe dream for me. But if I was Notre Dame, if I had any sway in Notre Dame, this is what I would be trying to do. I would get a revolving 3-team agreement with the SEC. The SEC has came out and encouraged their programs to play against Notre Dame. So I would get I would get a revolving 3-team agreement, play everybody in the SEC, go through all those teams, a different team every year, home and away, home and away, home and away, keep rotating through to the SEC. Keep it. You kind of already have it with the ACC with Clemson, Florida State, and Miami. Fine, keep it. Whatever. It's just 3 teams. Do the same thing with the Big Ten. Keep USC on your schedule. Have 2 more teams rotating through. We get to see Michigan every once in a while again. And then, so that puts you at 9. Then you just got 3 more spots to fill. Pull in, get a 1-game agreement with the Big 12 every year. Let's Notre Dame. This is what I would love to see. This is what Notre Dame used to be. Notre Dame used to be the metric for all of college football. We play everybody. So let's play everybody in all of their let's play every conference and let us be the measuring stick. Well, they played against Notre Dame and they lost to a team that lost to Notre Dame. So maybe they're not as good. Or they played against Notre Dame and they beat Notre Dame, but then they lost to this team. So maybe this team is better. Let Notre Dame be the measuring stick. Try to play everybody. Get some sort of agreement with every conference where you're playing all of those schools. You're rotating through them. Let Notre Dame be the metric. And we'll put Notre Dame at the forefront. We'll play some great. Then nobody can complain about our schedules ever again because we're playing everybody. If we're playing your conference and your conference and your conference, you can't bitch about us.
And if you are able to do that on a rotation, it isn't like hammering somebody. They're locked into playing tough Notre Dame all the time. It's like it'll move around,
right? And then we're not getting hammered with having to play Alabama, Ohio State, and whatever team the ACC decides they have.
Aren't Alabama and Texas on upcoming Notre Dame schedules?
Correct.
As is anyway.
I
believe both of those
We're doing
are
it
on
anyways.
the schedule. Yeah.
Yep, we're doing it anyways. So let's just that's the schedule we should have. I do think that if Notre Dame backs out of the ACC agreement, I think Clemson, Miami, and Florida State are out, and then the ACC just dies.
Ooh.
I think Notre Dame is the linchpin holding the ACC together. So I don't know if it'll happen, but I would love to see. I would have no problem seeing that conference die.
I wonder
I think all of those teams that don't have the brand name of the Clemson, the Florida State, and the Miami, and that's just they're living on name like Notre Dame did through the early 2000s. None of those teams are premier teams. They're all group of 5 teams. Virginia Tech can kiss my ass. It is not a top tier college football program.
Okay, so I would wonder what Pipa Vacqua thinks of the ongoing relationship with the ACC and how that's gone.
I would really love to know that.
And it's football, but it's all the other considerations that I don't think about too. All the other non-revenue generating sports, having a home, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But I would wonder behind the scenes what Vacqua thinks of how this is going. And I would love to know how he reacted, seeing, I'm sure 1 million people sent him the tweets. Why is your contractual partner shitting on you on the internet? Like, I just wonder where they're at in the comfort of that arrangement. But the ACC just does not move the needle unless it's downward.
It doesn't. It is no different than the American Conference. There's no team. And I say this fully knowing we lost to Miami. I don't think there is any team in that conference that can truly compete for a national championship. I don't think Miami has the horses.
Can I ask you this as well? And my brain, you know how my brain kind of works. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It seems to me the rapid big expansion of the Big Ten and the SEC complicates some of these resumes because everybody doesn't play everybody. And then you end up with like a 1-loss team that didn't play anybody or 2-loss team. But like the schedule inequity is bigger than ever in the conferences, which are supposed to test yourself.
For sure. Ohio State's strength of schedule is 37. Ours is 32. Indiana is 56. All right. These guys, they're not playing anybody. Penn State is 29, and they're 6-6. Southern Cal is 33. Washington is 43. Their conference isn't good.
Yeah.
And look at Ole Miss, right? Whatever. And I totally agree with you about, no, you cannot let Lane Kiffin coach that team when you're trying to recruit players and you got transfer portal.
It doesn't work.
I thought it was Kent that put that in there. And I was like, I don't know how the hell somebody could think you let that guy coach that football
is
team.
Messed up on all of it. You
can't have a guy coaching you in a playoff that's recruiting for another school.
No,
I'm sorry. Where he's trying to do this 2 things at once. You can't do that. Anyways, Ole Miss, who is in the SEC, the vaunted SEC, their strength of schedule is 40. They have a worse strength of schedule than Notre Dame. The problem these conferences have right now is there's too many damn teams in them.
Yeah.
You have too many teams.
Correct me. Didn't A&M get a light SEC run as well. I don't think I think A&M avoided a lot of the top teams in the SEC as well.
They're at 15. They're at 15, so it's not, but like Notre Dame's on there, so that probably helps them. But yeah, there's too many teams. There's too many bottom barrel of it. Vanderbilt is not going to stay Vanderbilt. I like Clark Lee a lot. I like what he's done. He is not going to be able to maintain there because at the end of the day, Vanderbilt isn't going to come up with the money they need. He's not going to, you're not going to have the dude and his hot mom in the stands. All right. Yeah. That's not going to carry on. Vanderbilt
and his brother's getting arrested at the game.
His brother gets arrested at like every game. What is that?
It's multiple games. The brothers got arrested for public intoxication. Yeah. And okay, so I got that guy playing quarterback good. His mom's shaking it up in the stands, and the brothers are getting arrested. What the hell's going on with this family?
Yeah, John, Texas Tech strength of schedule, 69.
Yeah.
69.
Yeah.
And people are complaining about who Notre Dame plays? Telling people Notre Dame needs to play a conference schedule? Sure. I'll be happy to go play the 69th hardest schedule in the conference and in the country and get a shoe into the playoff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you got harder schedules because you play in a conference. You don't. Yeah. Only if you're in the SEC, and it has to fall right because you could have Ole Miss's schedule.
Yeah, it is becoming really, really interesting how some of these teams get nailed in the conference schedule. Others seem to avoid the tougher teams. It's very weird. And that's also kind of how you end up with a 5-loss team being in your conference championship in the ACC because everybody doesn't play everybody to knock each other out.
I know you said you're a Duke fan. You want Virginia to win that game. That is a must win for Notre Dame. Virginia needs to win that game because Duke isn't good enough to qualify. And so
but if that's all happening below us, does it affect us?
It could. Depending on what happens with Alabama and Georgia and BYU and Texas Tech.
Yeah.
So it takes care of Miami. I mean, Miami's done. I think we'll see. Obviously, the thing can come out tomorrow, and Notre Dame could be screwed. I don't see it. I don't see how anything has changed. Like Ryan Roberts was in here, and he said debating blowouts. Like, really? A blowout is a blowout. Whether you win by 35 points or 30 points, what does it matter? It's you blow the team out. You blow the team out. What matters is how does the first half of the game look like? If the first half of the game is close and you blow them out in the second half, that's a little different. If the first half of the game is a blowout, like Notre Dame's last 2 games were, that's when it matters. Because any team could play close when their best players are on the field. It's when the depth starts to rotate in, and that's where most games that get blown out is when the depth starts to come into play. Notre Dame has been blowing teams out in the first half. So I don't think I beat this team by this many points or this many points and you gave up. I don't think that matters. They were blowouts. Games were never close. So I'm not worried about that. I don't think Miami can jump Notre Dame. And then Virginia wins. That completely eliminates Miami for the conversation. And it also might be another death blow to the ACC as a whole.
Yeah, it's really, really good, well-rounded coverage there, Pat. Anything else? I like your idea. It's one thing to say, I don't like the ACC, screw it. But at least you've thought it down the road enough to figure out how you would piece together the next thing.
And then, John, like, if you do that, let's say you can, it all comes down to the SEC. If you can go to the SEC and say, we want to play 3 of your teams every year. We played 2 this year. What's the difference? Let's add 1 more, right?
Yep.
We want to play 3 of your teams every year. You get to schedule them. We want a home and away. So if we're playing Arkansas this year at Arkansas, we want them at home next year. And then we want LSU again for 2. And then we're just going to do home and away for your teams. If we can do that, why would the Big Ten say no?
Yeah. Well,
imagine the pressure that you put on the Big Ten. The SEC wants to play Notre Dame. Why don't you?
See, that's the only thing I was thinking about in this loss avoidance era of trying to make the playoff. Like Texas could argue, what was the benefit of playing Ohio State week 1? We're out of the playoff because we lost to the number 1 team. Like, I would just be worried if there's any of these people that are like, why we could just schedule the Citadel. Why test ourselves against Notre Dame when you could schedule the Citadel and get a win?
Texas, it's a different scenario though, because that's not why they're out.
Yeah.
Texas is out because of the other games they lost. Yeah. Just like it's not why Miami is not Notre Dame is not ahead of Miami because of some bias. Notre Dame is ahead of Miami because Miami has 2 bad losses.
Yeah.
And when those losses happen.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. Really, that's strong stuff on a Monday, Pat. I like the plan. Anything else?
No, now if someone can get me an audience with Bavacqua, that'd be great.
That would be ideal. Let's set it up. Pat, have a good one. That was really good stuff. Thank you, buddy.
Anytime, buddy. We'll see you Wednesday morning for a little analysis on what this bracket is. I don't think outside of Texas A&M dropping, I don't expect any changes.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. Have a good one, buddy. We'll see you. Chicago's very own. Good morning. Ooh,
well, that was
a hairdo. Look at that hair. Ooh.
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't want to get lambasted for looking like a moron this morning. Yeah. So, listen, great call by Patrick Carter. So he stole my thunder for this morning. But remember what I said to you in the call Saturday night after the game. I started this fire about leaving the ACC. Okay, I'm the one that brought it up first, and the reason why I'm saying this is because there's parts of this that we're missing, right? So what we got to remember is the alliance and the partnership for the ACC was for the football team, right, to play a rotating schedule every year of 5 alternating ACC teams. There's a little hook in the proviso here, which is called the grant of rights deal with the ACC, which states that if ever Notre Dame decides to join a conference, they will join the ACC conference. And if they do that, they have to stay in the ACC till 2036. Are you kidding me? So let's go back in time. You know, I like my history, and you know I know what I'm talking about. So this all started with former Notre Dame athletic director Gene Corrigan, the guy that hired Lou Holtz. Remember, he went back when he left to give the job over to, what was his predecessor? Rosenthal, Dick Rosenthal. When he left, he bolted back for the ACC. Now, his son was integral with the former Notre Dame Kevin Smith athletic director after he made a terrible hire of Tyrone Willingham. He bolted back for the East Coast as well. There was kind of an unholy alliance between Swarbrick and the ACC, and the reasoning was they could prop up the Olympic sports, and also because of the fact that a lot of the Notre Dame alumni lived in the ACC conference, right? But what they didn't factor in, John, was here's the biggest part of it, was the fact that the Notre Dame Board of Directors, the athletic director, the past 2 athletic directors, and everybody else, and the coaches, the machination of coaches since the end of Lou Holtz, nobody was on the same page. So you had 3 different factions. They were not pulling from the same side of the rope. They were all self-interested. There was a little de-emphasization of football too. Father Malloy didn't do a great job. Neither did Father Jenkins stewarding this. So you fast forward to the last couple of years when we found out now Father Dowd took
Tom, sorry, buddy, you're gone. I don't know what happened. That's twice. At least before we could hear your voice. I don't know what happened, Tom, but I didn't boot you. Bad connection. Adam, good morning.
Good morning, John. What an amazing show.
Dude, this was a that's why I said to hell with it. We're going long today because there's just so much to think and talk about. It's crunch time. Adam, what do you make of it? We talked at about 2 a.m. my time when you were driving from the Stanford game home. Where is your mind at after a day to let it all simmer?
Yeah, all right. I'll say this: as far as the Notre Dame Stanford game, John, I can guarantee you the committee looked at it and said, "Oh, they're up 35-3 at halftime. Going to sleep," and that was it.
Adam, I had people on the Patreon chat that were literally like, that touchdown by Rick Meyer's kid has cost us the eye test and we're out. I refuse to believe it. I don't believe it.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not this committee. Not this committee. At least not this year. They are looking at Notre Dame in a totally different light than the paranoia that we tend to look at it at. And again, we look and we dissect, and we've talked about this. How many times we've talked about this, where we dissect this team day in and day out when we're waking up, when we're going to sleep. We're constantly thinking about Notre Dame football, and we're thinking about the things that we've done wrong, the things that we should be doing better. And that's how much effort and time and energy that we're putting into it. The committee's not doing the same. They're just not. They're looking at us going, Notre Dame, brand, check. The team, check. Heisman hopeful, check. Up and coming quarterback, check. I don't know, where do you want to go? The defense is getting way better. The head coach is a total stud. I mean, what else do you want? You know, the history is there. So they're looking at it completely different. They know that we were up 35-3. We started putting in other players. It's late. They put in their starters still against our second stringers. They score a couple touchdowns, whatever, man. That's not going to kick us out. If that's what was going to kick us out, then we were in a lot more dire straits than we were believing. Believe me. And it's just not the case. So don't worry about that. I do agree with Cotter that as far as like any kind of movement, it's going to be somewhere with the Texas A&M deal. But it's just from here on out, we just have to accept the fact of what we've done, where we're at, and move forward and root hard for Texas A&M. Like you said, root hard for, or excuse me, I keep messing that up. Texas Tech against BYU, kick them out of the situation. Yes, it would be hilarious to have Duke win it, but we do need Virginia to win it to just seal everything else off. And then again, with Georgia and Alabama, if Georgia can take care of Alabama, and then it just keeps us in that 8-9 range. And then that's kind of where we are. As far as the Ohio State thing, like whether we wanted to be at 10 or 8 or 9 or whatever it is, we don't know where Ohio State's going to land. They still have to play Indiana. And so if they lose to Indiana, they could be swapping 1 and 2 or 1 and 4. We don't know who's going to get that W. And Indiana's for real. You know, they might lose for sure. They're going to be the dogs in the fight. But if they do win, it will flip-flop a lot of the different teams. Same thing with Georgia and Alabama as far as the SEC championship. So just take that into consideration as far as like where we want to be for the 8, 9, or 10 position.
Yeah, it's you're on it. I mean, it's all the scenarios are kind of narrowing down here. The only escape hatch of feeling free is if they get frisky, want to make sure Notre Dame's in, so they flip Notre Dame and Oklahoma. And when they're asked, how could you do that? They just say, Oklahoma's been a little shaky and they've had to come back and win some of these games. Their offense has been ugly and Notre Dame's been on cruise control 10 weeks of double-digit wins. You could make that argument. If they want to make sure Notre Dame doesn't get bumped and they love Notre Dame and the FPI numbers that much, that's what you do.
Yes, and that would be, I mean,
but I'm not expecting it, Adam. I'm not expecting it. I think 9 is where we'll be. But if they are sold on Notre Dame, they could make that move and then justify it.
And if there's a committee that would do it, it would be this one. And I don't think last year's right. I don't think last year's committee touches it, but this year's committee, there is a chance. I'd give it like a 25% chance that that coin flips into that side, and then you do seal that deal. And wow, how amazing would that be? And imagine the fire. If your Twitter account is blowing up right now, imagine then, because that would just absolutely light it under everybody out there who's been talking about us in a negative light. So that would be quite fascinating.
Yeah, man, there is still a lot that has to get worked out in this. I do think one thing is if you're at a Miami tomorrow, then it's no longer an issue because neither have any games left. If they were going to jump you, it has to be now. And the committee just would have to completely flip philosophy they've been running on for over a month now to do it. I don't see them doing it.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. And, kind of switching gears here, John, as far as the whole ACC and scheduling, I'm a big scheduling guy. I love the matchups. I love like who are we going to play and when. I'm looking all the way up to 2034 right now. It's like I'm just all over the place with this. We already have agreements with a lot of these other teams that Cotter was talking about, and including Michigan. And it's just something where I look at the ACC and I understand what everybody's saying. Like we need to get out from there. Their garbage conference. Is it going to be dissipating? Is it just going to go away altogether? Kind of like the way the Pac-12 did, where it's literally just Oregon State and Washington State right now, and they're trying to get other teams, but it won't be the way it was before. But the reality is this, and just to play devil's advocate a little bit, what about these teams and these programs that have these years where they go up and then there's other years where they go down? And there's sometimes where they kind of blow up and they'd have to like reinvent the wheel, so to speak, and then re-recruit and get different, now a GM, a new head coach, and then they come back to the light. And we've had that where Notre Dame was not good. And so is Alabama, and so is Clemson, and so is Ohio State. It's not unique to just the ACC right now. It will be a time where Florida State, Miami, and Clemson come back. And whether it's in the next 2 years or 5 years, it will happen. It's just the way it is as far as time goes. So as far as like getting rid of all these teams, you also have to take into this consideration. One, they might be bad right now, but they will be getting better, is probably what's going to happen over the time. The other one is the fact that this is going to be more of a gauntlet if they switch it to 16 teams, which we all believe they will for the playoffs. So now you have to think about longevity. You have to think that these are not the NFL kids that we've talked about, like where they're 25, 28, 32 years old, young men, right? We're talking about 18, 19, 20, and 21-year-old kids who also have to, at our school, go to class, get a 4.0 GPA, and then they're going into their masters and they're doing all these extracurricular activities. So now you're going to sit here and you're going to say, okay, the ACC was garbage. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to play against Michigan, Texas, Bama, Texas Tech, and like all these hardcore teams. Well, we might mess around and find out with a 4-loss team. And if that happens, then we're not going to be in any kind of conversation going into a 16-team playoff. So it's just a little bit like more of a cautionary tale that I'm telling of like, think about the longevity, think about the gauntlet that's going to be coming up. And with that, don't you want to have some kind of scheduling with other teams in there that might be of a little bit lesser in between that and the other big time programs?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot to navigate here. And the other thing in the middle of all this is how quickly the landscape changes, right? The playoff expands to 12. It might go to 16. All those conferences moved around. Like for a sport based on tradition and the way things have always been, you've had so much change in the modern era. I think it maybe positions Notre Dame to be in a good spot, being even semi-independent, to be able to navigate and make your own moves because things change so quickly.
Yeah, they do. And, looking at these conferences, I mean, this was the most bizarre thing. I was sitting behind the offensive line and the running backs and the quarterbacks right there. I was 15 feet away from these guys. And next to them is a big box and it says the ACC. And I'm like, why is the ACC? Oh, that's right. Stanford, who's located in Palo Alto, California, is a part of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Yeah. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. And so is Cal. The Cal SMU game was an all ACC game. I mean, it's asinine, So when we're looking at all this, geographically, it just doesn't make sense. My 7-year-old was sitting there going, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, I know, just trust me. We all understand. But
Yeah.
at some
Tell-
point, they're
tell
going to
them-
have to
tell
figure
them
this out.
It's all about money, son. Someday you'll
Yes.
understand how the world works. It's all about money. Tell them that.
100%. I already have. I already
Yeah.
have told them that, and both my kids are being well educated on what kind of world we live in, and it's kind of dovetail into the Lane Kiffin thing. I mean, that's prime example. Because me personally, and this is everybody's different, but me personally, that is not the way I was raised. I wouldn't sit there and just bail out. I don't care if it's for 100 million. I could care less. It's not about that. You're already making millions where you are. You made a commitment to this team. You made a commitment to these players. You have the best season that they've ever had since like Archie Manning or whatever. And you're sitting there and you're telling me that you're going to be, just bailing out. I totally think it's disingenuous, and I don't appreciate it as another fellow human being who's sitting here watching these kids. They might understand it a little bit more now because of the fact that there's NIL and it's more business oriented in college football than it was back in the day. But at the same time, it's just like, that's the kind of precedent we're setting, and that's what it is. And the same way I felt about Brian Kelly leaving in the middle of the night is the same way I feel about Lane Kiffin. And the other one to that is when Florida State was kicked out for their quarterback, remember it was only a 4-team playoff.
Yeah.
It wasn't 12. So that was the difference between 4 and 5. So do I think that Ole Miss is out? No, I don't. But are they going to drop? They absolutely could, because that is part of the criteria for the committee.
Here's another difference. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the committee also got to see Florida State play a game without their good player, and that also weighed on it as well. Didn't they get to see them in the conference championship? I believe. I thought they got a game window to see them without that player. That makes it a little different too, and the player-coach difference. Who matters more? A star player or losing your coach that runs the whole thing when you look at if they're going to drop them? Bill Murphy here says there's talk the CFP committee might drop Ole Miss to 10 with Kiffin taking most of those offense coaches with him. Any word you've heard on this? I have heard that they could. I would be surprised if they penalize the kids on Ole Miss by dropping them and losing a home game. That's where I'm at. They could do it. I'd be surprised if they penalize the Ole Miss players by dropping them enough to lose a home game. I don't know how you drop a one-loss team behind two-loss team, a one-loss SEC team, but behind two-loss teams.
Because it's a different team now is what they're saying. That's how.
Because
it wouldn't shock me, John. It just wouldn't. Anything at this point nowadays, it just wouldn't shock me. Do I think it's right? No. But do I think, like, if you're telling me leadership is the capital and leadership is such a huge component to the level of success that we're all going to have in all of our lives, whether individually, collectively, your business, it doesn't matter what it is, on a team. Just look at Marcus Freeman. Look at the difference between Brian Kelly and Marcus Freeman and that level of leadership. It matters dramatically. And so now you're telling me it's not just Lane Kiffin, but that it might be the offensive coaches or the quarterback's coach and this and that. You're pulling and shredding that team by taking out the leadership. And I'll tell you, it will be a testament to Ole Miss on how they come out and perform and play. But if they drop them down to 10 and or 11 or something to that degree, man, that's a hard hit. That's a real hard hit. And then I hope Lane Kiffin really feels that. And I doubt he will, because he's like, hey, this is a business decision. I made it. I'm off. See you later. If you're not on the plane, then you're not a part of it, and blah, 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 and all that other stuff. It's like, man, you know what? Get out. And you're 100% correct, John. Not Notre Dame material. And that's not putting us on some pedestal. It's just saying that we expect a little bit more out of the people that we have coming in and out of our institution. I expect more. It's the same thing out of my kids. I expect you to do more. I expect you to set the example. And it's the same thing with these coaches. Set the example. But this is the example that we're allowing it to be, because this is the type of society we're in, unfortunately. At times, It's fortunate for the money side of things. It's fortunate for that we have the success and that you've built your success and you get to choose that. Yeah. But heavy is the crown, my friend.
Yeah, it's man, there's a lot going on, man. I love the drama in this sport. So Adam, I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. If you're ahead of Miami this time, I think you don't have to worry about that. Then it sets the stage for whatever comes Saturday, and we hope you get the results that help Notre Dame, man. Adam, have a good Monday in California, buddy. I'm glad you were at the game.
Love you, brother. Talk to you soon.
Have a good one, man. You guys are on top of it today. Pat says taking the coaches with them doesn't mean they won't finish coaching the team. I thought I heard and read a big drama yesterday was Kiffin telling the staff, if you're not on the LSU plane they're sending to go to Baton Rouge, you're not being on my staff. So then that would force the Ole Miss assistants to either go with him to LSU or stay at Ole Miss and then see what happens, I guess. And I think that was before they named a guy on the staff, the head coach. So then you didn't know. That was before they named the assistant, the head coach, to replace Lane. So then that guy was thinking, if I don't get on that plane, I could stay at Ole Miss, but there's no guarantee the next coach is going to let me stay here. So you may not have a job. So I don't know. Don't forget Charlie Weiss Jr. on that staff. Martinez, my main man. What's going on? Do I got you, buddy?
I can't understand you.
Renee, do I got you? I don't got you. The skate rat. What's up, rat?
Not much, man. Not much, man.
Well, what do you think? What do you think? Where's Notre Dame going to fall tomorrow? What's the deal? What's the scenario?
That's a great question. A very great question. I'm just going to wait and see. I'm not going to have any expectations on this because I really don't know. I mean, too many things did not go our way last week on Saturday. Thanks for nothing, LSU. Thanks for nothing, Auburn. And thanks for nothing, Pittsburgh. I mean,
yeah, you got nothing.
My middle fingers to all of them.
Dude, you could argue really the only game that didn't go with the result, that people think, I guess Texas A&M, the one game that didn't go our way hurt our cause, right?
Texas A&M, I don't know what to think about that one.
Listen, it's not like they're not good because they are 11-1 and not 12-0. It just helped Notre Dame's case a little more having them undefeated. But yeah, it's not like they're terrible now that they're only 11-1. You're right.
I don't know if we're really mattering or not, but here's one thing I'm going to say to these Texas fans. Dude, 3 losses mean strike 3, you're out. Check in, mate. You lose this debate. Case closed. Accept it. You're not getting in. Accept it.
Yeah, and I know, they're saying, why should we be penalized for not scheduling a high school team and playing Ohio State? But it's just a matter of don't lose 3 games. It's that simple. Don't lose.
Definitely.
Just like I'm saying about Notre Dame, don't lose 2, don't lose 3.
I mean, here's my opinion. That's the risk you take scheduling Ohio State. And scheduling Ohio State is just as risky as, please forgive me, Kenny Minchie, putting a Kenny in at quarterback, not thinking he'll get decapitated like Kenny from South Park.
Yeah, it's so I'm sorry, Texas, man. 3 losses is just too many. It's just not going to happen. So I don't know.
Unless you're Clemson last year, who won the ACC.
Right, but that's different though because of the championship game.
Yeah.
Is there any scenario where you see Notre Dame jumping Oklahoma tomorrow and being in the 8, which would pretty much lock Notre Dame in?
I don't really know. I really don't know. I don't have an honest thought on that one other than the committee will decide that. But thing is, though, Oklahoma still has that win over Alabama.
Yeah, and they're living off that. So you got that really, really high win, but they've been looking rough lately. I don't know, but eight would be an early Christmas present because I think that says Notre Dame's locked in and they believe in Notre Dame's consistency overall more than
Definitely.
Oklahoma if they do that. And if they don't, you're gonna have to sweat it out, and I'm gonna have to root for Texas Tech's oil money to deliver.
I agree. I mean, it still won't be the same feeling as that very first home playoff game, but it'll still be pretty cool if it happens.
Yeah, it would be, but man, that's a big advantage if you could get it at home. And for Notre Dame to start 0-2 and then slide back into that would be a big damn deal. What else is on your mind after a wild weekend of football?
Unfortunately, my back had a little bit of a relapse. Hell, because I rushed things. I wanted to rush back into it, and some things just tend to backfire. So I'm going to try again, and this time let it heal for real.
Your back literally backfired. Imagine that.
It was just more like nasty soreness, if you know what I mean. It's not as bad as it did that other time. It just, I don't know. I mean, I was able to do a kickflip last week, and I'm thinking, oh, awesome, I'm doing good. And then when I'm just carrying stuff and holding on to heavy stuff, lifting stuff, at some point it's just going to backfire, especially when you're doing when you're getting the snow off your car and then having to carry a bag of heavy stuff from your car to your friend's house.
Backflip in the snow really got you, man. Hey, Walter, enjoy the reveal tomorrow and then touch base with me later in the week.
Talk to you soon, man.
Yep, later, buddy. Let's see if we got
There's only 12 of them.
What up,
bro? Got the Paletti. Hey, John, how are you? Good morning. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Hold on. Hold on. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now, Johnny?
Yeah, I got you now, man.
Okay. There we go. Look at these dickheads. Anyways, hey, real quick. Just want to touch on 3 things real quick. Everybody's had great calls, man. Great input from everybody. Adam did the check mark thing that I was gonna kind of do, and he really hit on that. I was a little salty about the game because I wanted to see Jeremiah get that record, man. I really did. It's the last game of a long holiday weekend. They did that to us on purpose. They knew nobody was awake, but he's right about, hey, 35-3, cool, that half. We know what we're doing. I never doubt that we'll be in. We're in, no matter what, we're in. I don't think we'll get a home game, but we're in. I knew that. I'm really proud of Marcus Freeman on his handle every game like it's your last mentality, the way they went in on the 10 wins. Take care of what's in front of you. Take care of what's in front of you. The rest will take care of itself. And he did that, man. The players did that. They believed in it. They bid it. They're in. And so he did that. That's amazing, man. And then now you're finally starting to see Marcus get into his own. The first 2 years with those bad losses, he had to tread on thin ice, and people were coming after him. But you could see coming over, he goes, he finally answered the questions that people are asking him. Well, we've been trending up. We've been consistent. That's what I speak to my boys, consistency. I believe we got the best player in the country. There you go, man. He's finally letting them know, he's letting them know like a gentleman with class act, man. You can't ask better for a better coach than that. Also, fun fact for everybody. Remember, last year, Marcus Freeman lost 2 games by a total of 13 points. That's a touchdown each. Regardless of the head-to-head, right? Right? Like, we lost head-to-head at NIU, so Miami can't be like, well, you guys lost to NIU, we should not have been there. But now you guys want to be there. Now they want to be there, right? So you understand what I'm saying, though. You understand what I'm saying. Okay. The year before that, John, I pointed this out to you when he got his first 10-win season when I went to Sun Bowl. He lost those 3 games by a total of touchdown each. One of them was to the legendary SEC Slayer, Dabo Swinney. The other rest, of course, Stanford and thing. Marcus, in his last 5, I think, regular season losses, has lost each game by 1 touchdown. Has never been blown out. That's a fun fact for everybody. Coaches, people that know their shit, they pay attention to things like that. You know what I'm saying? So and as far as I was kind of like I tell you, salty. Still gonna be criticized, Carbro, because he made bad decisions on big games. But hey, man, I'll be the first to eat my words if he proves me wrong. I'd love for him to do it, bro. And I just, people, I'll be honest about that.
Your caller, the one that talks faster than me, that
Yeah.
dude have made good points. This eye test, this and that, this is all this. It's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's the truth. Whether you win by 9 or you win by 10. What was it? That stupid ass BCS or the last title game that Alabama and freaking LSU played 9-10. You really gonna tell me that was a great national title eye test game? Come on, get the hell out of here, man. You know what I mean? So that's that. So two. This is another point, man, that I'm gonna make up because you know how I feel about the SEC, and you know how I feel about wannabe tough guys like Signetti. Hey, Signetti, ain't no Italians in East LA, homie. Remember what they told them in American Me. No disrespect to my Italian homeboys on this chat because I love you guys. I love tons of Italians. Italians can coach. Italians can coach, man. Probably the best coaches. Real talk. Lombardi, Calipari, all across the board, Italians can coach, man. So I got nothing but love for you guys. But Signetti, ain't no Italians in East LA, homie. You know what that means? Don't act like a tough guy if you're not going to be a tough guy. Here's what my point to that. You guys want to talk about us, about our losses. Okay, our losses. This year, we have 2 losses under an effing touchdown against proven Marcus Freeman's record that he doesn't get blown out. So here's my point. You want to penalize us for a head-to-head loss. Why should you be rewarded for ugly wins against junior high kids, man? Why is that? Why is nobody asking that question? Homie, if you want to go, hey, homie, in my world, if you want to go sleep with ugly broads, bro, like an ugly broad would be Syracuse. You know what I mean? Syracuse, Boston College, ugly broads. Go sleep with them ugly broads, homie. Shit, ain't you know the homies are going to clown you because you're just sleeping with ugly broads. But you go sleep with this other chick you're not supposed to, know what I mean? When you get locked up, homie, because you think you're tough guy and you're cool, you're gonna get fucked up. You shouldn't be rewarded, homie, for those ones. Because those are ugly wins. Why isn't that a question that somebody's asking? Why should these SEC trash ass teams be rewarded for these ugly wins? That should never be. Along with wannabe tough guy Signetti. 3 straight junior high teams to start team. That's why I disagree with Adam 415 on. Hey homie, and it's not because I'm the toughest dude in the world, but you know what? You know what? You gotta fight me, homie. You just like with the Irish, you gotta fight me. Cause just like what Rodney says, we're gonna go everywhere playing whoever's gonna want to play us anywhere in the country. Bus, plane, or train. You know what I'm saying? So line them all up. Pat had a great scenario. Line them all up. But John, that to me is upsetting with that question. Why is nobody asking that? Why are these teams being rewarded for ugly wins?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
It's a good question. It's all a calculation of who prioritizes what. Good wins, bad losses, like who you beat, who you lose to, what do you value, the margin of victory, game control, all these stats. So what do you think, man? Are we at 9 tomorrow and then we sweat it out for Texas Tech BYU or what?
Yeah, I think we stay at 9, John. I don't think we're going higher up than 8. I don't see us getting a home game, but we're in either way. It'd be great for the city of South Bend and for the fan base. Like definitely we want to be at home because man, that whole crowd is now, it's different from when I first went to see Wake Forest to 2 years later, the electricity, those young kids, that crowd is so different now, man. Like I tell you, we were up 70-77, be it senior night, whatever. The stadium holds 77,000 fans, and I tell you, like 68 of them were still there. You know, even in the rain, you've seen with the delays in the last few games. So I really pray that they'd have a home game because the city of South Bend would need it. And I know a lot of those businesses that make their money off of those 6 home games, man. But also for the team, but I don't see us getting a home game. But we do know that Marcus goes into the road and he goes into fight, man. He actually has a good record going into, to play well. Like you can't deny what he's gonna bring with the team. But those are fun facts for everybody, man. I said, sorry I had to get a little gangster there, but ain't no Italians in East LA, Signetti.
Hey, I love you, buddy.
I love you guys. I love you. Onward, Notre Dame.
See ya. Oh, that's funny. I can't believe we've gone almost 3 hours. Nobody's talked about the fact signing day is Wednesday. We're going to do a show on Patreon breaking down the class. I think we're going to record it tomorrow night. So Patreon people, we're going to hit it heavy. Jack Sullivan, the recruiting expert, him and Goolsby going to break down all this stuff. So we'll have a show for you on that. It's just weird with the calendar that all this stuff overlaps together between the playoff stuff and then you got the early signing day, and then it's just this part of the year. There's just a lot going on. And by the way, I did see 559. People are saying don't record it tomorrow. We're going to jinx it and lose somebody. Every single person I've talked to about this says nothing to worry about. Notre Dame's going to get all the guys they're expected to get. I also don't think you're expecting anything like a surprise in Notre Dame's favor. Kind of feels to me pretty boring. You're going to get the guys you're going to get and not a lot of fireworks for or against you. But we're going to do that show. So there will be definitely some recruiting content for you. 559 on the line got a little viral there. Did you all see his little clip went viral on the internet of him at the Stanford game with the chain or the belt and everything, and it all went viral? So maybe that's why 559's not here today, because he's too busy living the celebrity life, putting that belt to ass, baby. We bougie, my boy. So anyways, I love seeing him get a little attention, get a little flavor. That energy is awesome. All right, you guys. 3 hours. I wasn't expecting it on a Monday. Wasn't expecting it on a Monday, but we went 3 hours. We had a bunch of new people, a bunch of older people that have been around. What a really, really good way to start a juicy, important week. I'll have a video. I'll have something for you guys in the morning. And then obviously we're all going to see what happens with the playoff thing tomorrow night. I do think Sunday I should plan to go live and have it all set up. And then right when those rankings come out, we could react to it together. I'm kind of planning on that. So maybe I'll have it up and they're going to reveal it, and then we can all react in live time to it. And either we're all going to be super pissed off or everybody's going to be in a good mood Sunday. So maybe we plan to do that. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, we have Monday Night Raw tonight on Patreon. I'll see you guys there. Really strong start to the week for this show. Thank you, guys.